Licensing reimagined. Long time coming, like on the bottom of my feet from running. Cataracts under my eyes from hustling. Going from buying and selling to customers. Run up the business, God is my witness. Turn up the sun up from Monday to Sunday. We maxing the limits. My mind running like Tom Cruise on an action movie. Moving the mission, they say that I'm tripping. I've been told I need a vacation. I'm finessing a visit.
Oh, what is up, everybody? Welcome to DFS by the Numbers, and welcome to Stat Diggers for UFC Paris. We have Kyle Bahayo going against Nasruddin Imavov. We have a big 14-fight card coming up this weekend in Paris, and yeah, looking forward to this card. Pretty solid card from top to bottom. Weezy, what is up? Are you looking forward to UFC Paris?
I am. I always love the Paris crowds, and this is a pretty fun card from top to bottom. Interesting fights, good matchmaking, not a lot of blowout, one-sided fights here. So we're gonna get a good, raucous live crowd like we always get in Paris. We got a Benoit Saint Denis versus Mauricio Huffy co-main event. Which, I mean, how could that fight possibly suck? So I think it's going to be a really fun one. And like I said, I love the cards where the matchmakers really do a good job, where they pick a bunch of fair fights. And I think that there's reasons to like both of these fighters on in a lot of these matchups. So I think it's going to be a really interesting card to break down. I'm looking forward to doing it.
Yep. Should be a fun show. I'm going to try my best to do well tonight. I'm very hungover. I was up till 4 o'clock in the morning. And guess what time I woke up?
Well, you got a very young child at home, so I know that you sometimes get woken up at times that are ungodly for somebody like me. Let's say 10 a.m.
What? 10 a.m.? What? 10 a.m.? 10 a.m.? What? 6.
Did he freeze? Yeah, I know.
Did you just broke my stream? You broke the connection. I woke up at 6. I got 2 hours of sleep.
God. So 2 hours of sleep?
Yeah.
Oh.
After a heavy night of drinking a lot of alcohol.
Oh,
so
boy.
It's been a rough one. Had a fantasy draft today. Got Jamar Chase, number 1 overall. Got Lamar Jackson in round 2. So feeling pretty good about the fantasy team. But yeah, we are here on a Sunday. As always, before we get into it, if you guys could like the video, subscribe to the channel. We are never a second late. And I think even tonight, we started a little bit earlier just because we had a week off. And so we started actually on time, a couple minutes early, actually. So that's good. So what we'll do real quick is we'll do a quick recap of UFC Shanghai that took place last week. So my plan was to not watch the fights at all and then wake up and then watch the fights. And I actually ended up pulling an all-nighter, watched every fight from start to finish, went to bed at 10 o'clock in the morning. It was a very long night, but I'd say it was worth it. I really enjoyed the fights for UFC Shanghai, and I thought I did a very good job in terms of avoiding a lot of the landmines. There were a couple of landmines I did run into, but I avoided a lot of them and really picked my spots and ended up being a very solid night. My first bet of the card was I had the Yiza Weston Wilson fight won't start round 3 in a parlay. So that leg came through. Money was pouring, on the over 1.5 rounds in a Weston. I'm not sure if nobody saw Weston Wilson ever fight, but money was pouring on the over, and the under was at a pick 'em at one point. But I was already really invested in that fight won't start round 3. But Yiza went out there and knocked out Weston Wilson in 37 seconds. And I know you were on the knockout prop. I was also on the knockout prop. I want to say it was plus 300 for the KO. Had a half unit on that. So the night started out incredibly. Got the fight won't start round 3, first leg of my big parlay, and then had Yiza by knockout at plus 300. Came through with flying colors. Was feeling pretty dang good. And then Michelle Pereira, Kyle Dawkins happens. And it's if you told me before the fight that Kyle Dawkins was going to go out there and knock out Michelle Pereira, let alone in 43 seconds, I would have called you stupid. I would have said, you're stupid. You're stupid. But that's exactly what happened. Michel Pereira gets knocked out by the Darce Knight. The first time Michel Pereira had ever been knocked down, even in the UFC, and the first time that Kyle Dawkins had ever knocked anybody down, probably ever, but in the UFC. So just a very, very weird outcome. The one thing that I was happy about was, I didn't go all in on Michel Pereira. Did I like him to win? Absolutely. I thought he absolutely should have won that fight. I really liked the win, but I only had one unit on Michel Pereira, so it could have been a lot worse. I didn't throw in a parlay. I didn't have multiple units on him. I didn't have multiple plays on him. I had a one-unit shot on him to win in the first 2 rounds there. So that hurt, but I was glad I wasn't overly exposed on Michel Pereira. And Michel Pereira, he went out there and I don't know. I mean, did he bet on Kyle Dawkins KO1? Kyle Dawkins KO1 was plus 2,000. I don't know. I'll let you be the judge, but that was one of the weirdest outcomes ever. I had a late ad. I added the Charles Johnson plus 3.5 Wheezy at minus 138. It was something that I was targeting earlier in the week, but they had it like minus 200 and something earlier in the week, and money kept coming in on Kavanaugh all week. So the plus 3.5 actually became playable. So I put a unit on the plus 3.5 at minus 138. And yeah, I really hated that bet for the first 9 minutes and 30 seconds. And then Charles Johnson knocked him out. So that was cool. Cashed the plus 3.5 there. I had the fight won't start round 3 in the Naraji Crosby fight to close out that parlay. It was like 2.5 units to win 2 on both fight won't start round 3 and the Weston Wilson fight and the Crosby fight, and that came through pretty easily. Naraji beat the brakes off of Crosby, illegal need him, and then it was a weird situation where Mark Goddard took 2 points, but he kind of rushed Crosby back in there, didn't really give him any time to recover, and you just knew right. And then it's like, what's going on here? Naraji gets on top and pounds him out. So that was big. That was my biggest play of the card. What else did I have? Oh, I had a half unit shot on Pavlovich to win by KO under 1.5 rounds. That somehow didn't come through. I mean, the chin that Waldo Cortez Acosta has needs to be studied because Waldo took and ate some massive shots, and Pavlovich has went to decision his last 3 fights. Ridiculous. Hopefully that stops. I had the Aljamain Sterling Aljamain Sterling minus 5.5 point spread. It was the first time I've ever bet a minus point spread, minus 5.5. As soon as I saw Brian Ortega weighed in, I went and jumped on that instantly. I put a unit and a half on it. Ortega apparently he fainted or something, went to the hospital, and then all of a sudden he's weighing in. I'm like, okay, I'm going to go bet on Sterling, but I didn't want to bet the inside the distance because Sterling's not really a finisher, and I could see a scenario where he does go out there and 50-45 him, and I actually called a 50-45, and he 50-45'd him on all 3 judges' scorecards, so that was massive. And I beat a ton of line movement as well. The CLV curse did not happen there. I think that, or the minus 5.5 point spread closed at like minus 150, something like that. So that was awesome. And then I think what I'm most proud about, Wheezy, is, typically, I'd probably be throwing the Walker Zhang Mingyang under 1.5 in a parlay. Why not? It's something that, is it chalky? Yes. Is it minus 300? Yes. But will it hit? Yeah, it absolutely should. And it goes over by 7 seconds. I would have been pissed if I threw the under in a parlay, but I just completely stayed away from the main event, saved some money there, went up a little bit over 3 units for UFC Shanghai. The only bad thing that happened was Michel Pereira. Outside of that, pretty much went very well. Weezy, I know you had a good night as well. Talk about Shanghai.
Yeah, I mean, I made 2 money line bets. The first one was 1 unit on Long Zhao at plus 113. Pretty solid bet. I thought he won the fight. I was pretty happy about it before the decision was read, but that one did not cash. But I did have 1 unit on Charles Johnson at plus 175. That closed at plus like 220. And when I saw that line movement go against me, I was like, cash it, baby. I've never lost a bet when I've had line movement go against me. It's crazy. Like, it just seems like CLV is such a curse when it goes in your favor. And yeah, that one went way against me. And Johnson was getting his ass kicked in the first round. I mean, Kavanaugh looked phenomenal. He was kicking the legs. He was really dominating Johnson in there. And Johnson's just got that crazy durability, that phenomenal cardio. And Charles is flashing power now. He knocked out Josh Van. He basically knocked out Sumaderji. The ref just didn't stop the fight. And then this one here against Lonnie Kavanaugh was phenomenal at the end of the second round. And you could see that tide start to turn before Charles landed that big shot. He was starting to put Lonnie on the back foot. That was a phenomenal effort by Charles there. Like you, when you saw Brian Ortega weigh in, you did the smart thing and bet on Aljamain Sterling. I did the dumb thing and bet the under, because I thought that, oh God, like it looks like Brian's going to die. And I said to myself, even Aljamain Sterling is going to be able to finish this guy. And yeah, no, he didn't even come close to finishing him.
It was kind of pathetic, to be honest.
Yeah, I know. And I mean, like, and at the end of the day, I was like, as pathetic as it was that he was unable to finish a guy that was on death's door, it was pathetic for me to think that Aljo was going to finish somebody in the year of our Lord 2025. So that was a loss of a unit. I lost the unit on my probability parlay, which was Sergey Pavlovich to win, Zhu Rong to win by decision, and then the third leg that didn't hit was Lonnie Kavanaugh to win by decision. Because I figured if he was going to win, it was definitely going to be by decision because Charles Johnson's so durable. And he was on his way to a decision win when that tide turned and he got knocked out. 1 unit on Yi Jia to win by knockout at plus 285. That cashes for 2.85 units. 1 unit on the under 1.5 rounds for Michelle Pereira versus Kyle Dawkins at plus 155. That cashes for 1.55 units. Then I took a couple of quarter unit shots on some long shot plays. I had fight to end by sub for Austin Hubbard versus Zhu Rong at plus 850. That was nowhere close to cashing. And then I had Weston Wilson to win by submission in round 1 at plus 2,800. Took a shot on that. Nowhere close to cashing, but yeah, up 2.65 units on a week where I only had 6.5 units in bets. So I was happy with that. Always nice to go into the week off, especially after like an 8 or a 9 week stretch on a winning week, which is what I was able to do, and looking to continue that winning streak for UFC Paris.
Yeah, the wagons are starting to circle. It was a couple weeks ago I was on a 4-event skid. Now, all of a sudden, I'm on a 3-card winning streak. So, looking to make it hopefully 4 coming up for Paris. And yeah, those are the best cards. Whenever you really pick your spots, you don't get too invested, and then you go out there and you have a 2-3 unit winning night. Those are the best nights. I like nights like those. So, yeah, let's get into the chat then. Let's see what you guys have to say here. We got Dick's Insider. Welcome back, boys and girls. And by the way, you guys can vote in terms of who needs to get help. We got 94 votes thus far. The options are Poor, Weston Wilson, number 1. Number 2 is Michelle the Captain Pereira. Number 3 is Dihar Nergoze. And then number 4 is Kevin William Knight Borjas. So go ahead and vote to see who needs to get some help. I know it's been an off week, but we haven't forgotten. We haven't forgotten that poor Weston Wilson got knocked out in 30 seconds. We haven't forgotten that Michelle Pereira threw the fight once more and got knocked out in 40 seconds. We haven't forgot about Dr. Nergoze, who almost got Kimura twice in a row, but instead got Ezekiel choked. We have not forgot about that. And we have not forgot about Kevin Borjas landing 16 strikes in 15 minutes. I mean, that's ridiculous. 16 strikes in 15. Like, how does that even happen? Like, you got to try to land only 16 strikes in 15 minutes. So we have not forgot about either one of these guys. So vote to see who needs help. Don't forget to hit the like button. I agree. Missed you as well, Gus. We're back. Yes, sir. We got Otterbomb. Let's go. We got Forrest saying, man, a week off from UFC really lets you know how much you miss Brady, a.k.a. the songbird of our generation, and Uncle Weezy, a.k.a. the dude. Yeah, we did have Contender Series at least. We got a little something, and that Contender Series card was freaking phenomenal. 5 finishes. So at least we had that. But yeah, a week off from UFC always kind of sucks. We got Mike Rocock saying, I love Brady, and I love Mike Rocock. We got Thad Jean. Don't be later. We'll start crying. I'm the PFL champion. Shout out to Thad Jean, fan of the show.
Fan of the show. Thad Jean in here. PFL champion. Stand up.
Got a lot of fighters that we got. Fluffy that watches the show. Roman Dolidze watches. Eileen Perez, fan of the show. I mean, we got a lot of fans of the show that are fighters. It's pretty cool to see. Dumas has been in here in the past. I haven't seen him in a while, but Dumas versus no. So Dumas is fighting. Zach Reese.
Zach Reese, right? Yeah. And that's on next week's UFC Noche card in San Antonio, isn't it?
Oh, I believe so. Let's go.
That's awesome, dude. Well, that means that one Cedriques Dumas got the permission to be able to leave the great state of Florida, and he will be on his way to San Antonio, Texas, to fight a hometown Shiner, Texas stand-up Shiner Bock, one of the great American beers made in Shiner, Texas, the hometown of one Zach Reese. Can't wait for that fight.
Yeah, so Zach Reese is minus 275. That's hilarious. We got Limbo Sosa with the 199. Appreciate you, Limbo. He says Jandaroba needs an OnlyFans so I can send them to Brady. No, I don't want that. But Werner Jandaroba will be fighting Mackenzie Dern for the strawweight championship. Isn't that crazy?
Wait, Zhang's moving up?
Zhang's moving up.
That's right. Oh my God. Wow. Well, good thing. Good thing. I'm glad that Werner got the shot because she's been white hot since that loss to Amanda Hebas. So yeah, that'll be a good fight. I can't wait to see. That'll be a grappler's delight. Hopefully they grapple the entire time, because if that winds up being a 5-round striking fight, Brady, we're all going to kill ourselves, I think.
Oh, it could. It could be a 5-round striking fight. But yeah, you're right. Jandaroba has been very, very, very hot.
Yes.
Dixon saying, Brady Weezy, did you guys watch Ferguson, TKO, Super Salt Poppy, and Darren Till sleep Luke Rockhold? I saw the highlights on Twitter. I actually did want to watch the fight live, but I thought it was later in the evening. But yeah, nice to see Tony Ferguson get back in the win column, knocking out Salt Poppy.
What's a Salt Poppy, by the way? What is that?
So this guy used to be he still is. He's a TikToker turned boxer, I guess.
Okay.
Kind of crazy, kind of like he's not horrible, but he used to do like TikToks and like dancing and stuff. I don't know. If Ferguson lost to him, it would be ridiculous. But Ferguson was like plus 300.
Wow, plus 300 to a TikToker?
Yeah, to a TikToker who dances.
Wow, and I mean, because I saw Rockhold get knocked out, man, that was nasty.
Oh,
I hope he's okay, dude, because like he's been knocked out so many times before, and like he went out, you know. So like Darren Till still got a little bit of power in those hands, and yeah, I'm happy Tony Ferguson beat somebody named Salt Poppy.
Salt Poppy.
What is that? What kind of a name is that?
I don't know.
I know I go by Uncle Wheezy, so maybe I don't have like the best room to talk, but at least I'm not Salt Poppy.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't get it, but we got City Boy reposted the stream. And by the way, if you guys are watching on X, don't be afraid to hit the retweet, just like City Boy. If City Boy can do it, you guys can do it too. We got Flub saying the new yeah, I had to hit up my graphics guy, and I said, hey, listen, bitch, we need some graphics. We need some graphics, and there we go. And if you're asking why I look so angry in that photo there on the right, it's because I bet on Michelle Pereira. That's what did it. That's what pissed me off. Did you pipe your graphics guy on site? I had a little talk to him, a talk with him. I'm sick of his shit. How did Brady get cool new graphics when he keeps firing graphics guys every week? Brady doesn't need sleep. Yeah, everybody needs sleep. Come on. Boaston Hose is real. Michelle needs to retire. Yeah, he's done, man. He needs to hang him up. I've seen enough. Lamar round 2 is crazy. Well, it was late round 2. I got the first round pick, and then it came all around. We're in a 12-man league, so it was like the 24th, 25th overall pick. That's saying like the video. I agree. We got Artem in the building. What is up? Luke Rockhold needs help. I would tend to agree. How many likes for Brady to get the Garbrandt face tat? We'll do 200 likes during the show. Once the show's over, it doesn't count. During the show. Wilson always needs help, but there is something seriously wrong with Michelle Pereira. I don't know if even God can help him now. I agree with that statement. You know, Weezy, did you watch the Michelle Pereira fight live?
I don't think so. I think I had to watch that one later. Or no, wait. No, I did. I did watch that one live because I had the under 1.5 rounds there, and I just couldn't believe that I cashed it like that. You know, you never, you could, that's one of those ones where you could go on Twitter and be like, your boy called it under 1.5 rounds, you know, like I didn't see it happening like that, you know, there's no fucking way. So Yeah, I did see that, and I was just sitting there shaking my head, going, I cannot believe he cashed that bet like that, and I can't believe that he got knocked out by Kyle Dawkins. Literally, this guy Pereira had landed something like 9 UFC knockdowns, and I think he had absorbed 0 or 1.
0,
and
yeah.
Kyle Dawkins had landed 0 UFC knockdowns and had been knocked down 4 times in something like 6 fights. So it was shocking to see it end that way.
This makes no sense. It just makes no sense. But Michel Pereira was walking out, and he didn't even dance. Like he didn't dance. It was weird. Like what he did.
I was happy to see that he wasn't dancing. So I was actually counting on him getting a first round knockout in order for me to cash that under 1.5.
Maybe like it was weird. Like he was smiling. Like why are you so happy? Why is he so happy? Like I don't get it. And then what really got me, and when I knew it, my bet was in trouble, when Michael Bisping started talking about how he saw Michel Pereira in the weight room earlier that day. And apparently him and his buddies, they got all the weights out. They were slamming the weights. You're making a ruckus, not racking the weights. Like, why is this guy out there doing a full-on lift a couple hours before the fight? Like, that doesn't really seem ideal.
And what kind of people don't re-rack? That's disgusting. That's horrible gym etiquette to not re-rack your weights, Brady. You know that. Yeah.
Horrible.
Who raised this guy?
I don't know, but I've seen enough. I've seen enough of him. We got the dog father in the building. Why does Brady look like a Timu Liam Neeson in that graphic? I don't know. I'll have to ask my graphics guy. I want to see if the graphics guy can get a face tat on me, like a Garbrandt face tat. I think that would be pretty cool. We got Narco Cop in the building. What is up, Narco? Saying, what's up, boys? Hope you guys had fun in Chicago. Absolutely. It was one hell of a time. I'm still hungover from Chicago. Still hungover. We got Mike Rocock with a $10 dono saying, Uncle Weezy, Aunt Marunia said you can come to Thanksgiving this year. She asked that you dress appropriately and not bring the brownie dessert. Great Uncle Arthur hasn't been the same since 2012.
Yeah. If I offer you a brownie, Brady, you want to be real careful about what you have to do for the next day or two. It's not just going to have weed in it. There's probably going to be peyote. It's going to be a bit of a Jeffrey, and then when that happens, you're going to, I remember great Uncle Arthur. He started telling war stories and shit, and like he was flying. Jeez.
But shout out to Mike.
Yes.
Mike Rocock.
I'll be there, Mike.
We got Corey. Corey with the 49. I appreciate it. Corey says, respect the Scarlet. Yeah. And I said it on last week's show or 2 weeks ago. I said, if Charles Johnson gets a 3rd round finish from here on out, the rest of his career, I will be getting a Scarlet. And he was 1 round away from me showing up with a Scarlet. How close was that? Too close for comfort, in my opinion. Terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. Ortega is cooked, to say the least. To say the least. Big win for Johnson. Yeah, Johnson's good, man. Johnson's good. Shout out to Brian. But yeah, Brian Battle beat some 3-9 bum in boxing. Big
win. Hey, he looked good, man. He made that dude quit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Starting at 3:30 a.m., get some help, stat diggers. Well, what can you do? What can you do?
Our guy Muhammad is in the UK, and it is late there right now. Yeah,
that's brutal. McKe was on Dawkins. There you go.
Yeah, nice.
Prayer is on Lake Mead right now in his new $1 billion cruise ship. Oh, I believe it.
Paid for with a plus $2,000 plus 2,000 Kyle Dawkins by KO in round 1.
Yep, him and his buddies are having fun on that yacht right now. Split decision saying, let's get Mikey P some real help. Start a GoFundMe or something. I'm sure once the commission charges him with taking dives, all his winnings will be confiscated. They need confiscated. He's clearly throwing these fights. Weezy Dumas wants to come on the show for best bet. Let me know. What? Dumas wants to
I don't do best bet. That's Brady, but like, wow.
What? Wait, what?
That would be fucking awesome. I mean, like, I know he probably wouldn't be able to do it this week because he'll be training for next week's fight against Zach Reese. But yeah, I mean, to get a high level fighter like Cedric Dumas on the show to break down fights, that would be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, if Dumas wants to come on Stat Diggers Mills next week to talk about his upcoming fight the week before. I mean, he can open invitation for Cedric Dumas.
Let's go.
Let's see here. Heard the prison guards confiscated Dumas's cell phone. I think he's out of prison.
He's out. He's out, baby. The justice system is working.
We got Big Steve. Welcome back, lads. How many kook snails?
Cook snails?
What's that?
Cook snails?
What is that?
Oh, dude, I mean, that's some Australian talk from our guy, Big Steve.
I'm scared to look it up. Hopefully it's not like
Yeah, I'm looking that up. That
a cock or something. Oh, what? What is that? What is that? Looks awful. Looks
cooked
terrible.
snails or just cook snails?
I look. It's saying cooked snails. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, that's a. Oh, well, you know what he's talking about? He's talking about we're going to France.
Okay.
And in France, they have a dish called escargot. It is snails. I eat it every time that I'm there because my girlfriend, she always tells me stories about how her and her grandmother used to go out into the forest and they dig up snails and they would cook them. It's a big French delicacy to cook snails. So I've had them. They are pretty delicious, Brady. I'm not going to lie to you, dude. They're drenched in butter. They put them in a metal pan, and it gets, they put cheese in there. The French like really rich food. And cooked snails are something that they're regularly eating over there. And the French absolutely love it.
Oh, I'll have none. Weezy will have some, though.
Yeah, I'll have some, and I'll have some before I get my steak au poivre, nice and bloody, with some aligot. Oh, baby, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to eat some French food now. I'm gonna have to go to Les Bouchons here in the city, one of the great French restaurants here in Chicago, maybe this week. That sounds like something I want to do for UFC Paris.
Yeah, do it. Absolutely. Oh yeah, and Salt Pop. He also dances, and then he also takes salt and then sprinkles it in like a really.
Oh, it's that dude, the chef?
Yeah, I think that's him. I think he does that.
That's the dude. So Tony Ferguson beat a chef.
No, I think you're thinking of somebody else because there's another guy that does it too.
Oh no, I'm thinking that's Salt something else. Okay, so Salt Poppy is somebody else. All right, never mind.
Yeah,
never mind. All right, yeah. But
either way. Brady, I can make you better graphics for $10.99 a week than you have one. It's not in the budget. $10.99 a week is not in the budget. Not in the budget. My graphics guy does it for way cheaper.
But you abuse the shit out of your graphics guy, dude.
He likes it. He likes it. I think he likes it because he keeps fucking up. Why you keep fucking up, graphics guy? Sick of that, dude. We got $10.99. I don't know. We'll see. We got Dravi in the building. Yo, what's up, boys? This is my favorite card of the year, honestly, and it's an insane betting card as well. Can't wait. Yeah, the card's great. I think it's a very, very good card. What's up, Dravi?
I wonder if Dravi's on Benoit Saint Denis. I know Dravi's Canadian and Benoit is French, but they both speak French. Yeah. They got that kinship. I wonder if he's on Benoit Saint Denis this week.
We'll have to find out.
Yeah.
Brian battling he did fight a bus driver.
He's a bus driver? Is Salt Poppy a bus driver?
No, he's a TikToker.
Okay, all right. I'm getting everybody mixed up. I'm sorry.
It's all good. How Battle gonna make 186 for Dirty Boxing, but not for UFC? I don't know.
It's true. He made 186 to fight a bus driver.
It's hilarious.
But he's about to fight Nursultan Ruzaboyev in Chicago, and he can't make 180. I mean, just unbelievable.
Wild. We got MMA Husky Hustler in the building.
That's my guy.
Coke snails.
Coke snails. That's what I thought he meant too. And I was like, dude, I don't even know. I used to party all the time. I don't even know what a Coke snail is. But yeah, he was talking about cooked snails.
I looked up Coke snails and there's a snail doing lines of Coke.
Oh, really? Like a snail at parties?
Yeah, I guess so.
Oh, yeah, man. I want to hang out with that snail.
Yeah, looks like a pretty cool snail there. Let's see here. We got Dr. Peener Jr. in the building. What is up, Dr. Peener Jr.? Good to see you in here. So there's Salt Bay and Salt Poppy. That's where we got a little mixed up.
Got it.
Jeez. We got Mike James. What the heck?
Yeah,
The jump scare.
Picture.
The jump scare right there. Oh my gosh. But yeah, shout out to Mike James for reposting the stream. Heck yeah. All right. What else we got in here? Okay. So before we get into it, we got to shout out our sponsor, and that's our guy Avery. Shout out to Avery for sponsoring the show, keeping it alive. Go give Avery a follow at MMA_very. Appreciate you, Avery, for keeping the show going strong. Let's end this poll. Let's end the poll to see who needs help. And I think last week's was a lot closer. This week's not really close at all.
See, I know I picked Brady.
Who'd you pick?
I thought that it's got to be Michelle Pereira. And I mean, I am not talking shit about Kyle Dawkins at all. I've always thought Kyle Dawkins is a UFC level fighter capable of winning fights at this level, but getting knocked out by that dude in round one, might be time to get some help.
Well, let's see if you nailed it here. In fourth place was a guy that landed 16 strikes in 15 minutes, Kevin William Knight Borjas, with 3%. Only 3% thinks this guy needs help. In third place, a guy that got Kimura in his debut, missed weight by 10 pounds, and he showed up in the next fight. He almost got Kimura again, but instead gets Ezekiel choked, and that is none other than Dr. Nergoze at 9%. Ezekiel choked. Wow. 9%. In second place, a guy that brutally knocked out. Poor guy flew all the way to Shanghai. Poor Weston Wilson, 22%. And you guessed it, the number one who needs to get some help is Michelle, the captain, Pereira at 64%. Really not even close this week. And I think I would tend to agree. I tend to
agree too. I mean, the guy's really fallen on hard times since that Fluffy Hernandez fight.
Yeah. Oh God. All right. And then we also have to talk about the milking of the week, which it came through. I mean, he milked him. Did he finish him? No, but did he milk him? Did he drain him a little bit? I mean, the fight was pretty much over at the scale, right?
Yeah, so the scale milked him.
The scale beat him. So Aljamain Sterling to milk Brian Ortega. Oh, goodness gracious. So the milking comes through. The piping does not. What happened here? Zhang Mingyang to pipe up Johnny Walker on site. It didn't happen. Johnny Walker piped him up. Yeah,
the leg kick broke him.
Yeah.
It was a close fight up until that point, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But he got broken by the leg kick. You land one or two good ones and it could be lights out. And that's how he finished them. And it went over by 7 or 8 seconds. That was unbelievable too.
Yeah. And I believe the Stat Diggers parlay of the week, I had the under 1.5 in the Wilson fight, which came through. And I believe you picked the Sterling money line, right? I believe so. I think so.
Yeah, I mean, I think we both really like that Sterling money line, and obviously the under in the Weston Wilson fight was something that was looking like it was going to hit. So yeah, I think we did hit it, didn't we?
Yeah. So the milking comes through, the parlay comes through, but the piping is not coming through. But we'll get it back. There's a lot of good options this week. All right, I say we're going to do it here. We're going to start with the first fight of the card, and we have Sam Hughes going against Shauna Bannon. We got Sam Hughes, who is 33 years old, 5'5" with a 64-inch reach. Shauna Bannon, 31 years old, 5'5" with a 69-inch reach. We got Shauna Bannon 3 years younger. We got Shauna Bannon with a 5-inch reach advantage. So Shauna Bannon is 4-1 in her last 5 fights. She made her debut against Bruna Brazil, lost that fight by decision. She beat Alice Ardeline by a split decision, and then she submitted Pooja Tamar in the second round. As far as Sam Hughes, she is 3-2 in her last 5 fights. A decision loss to Pierre Rodriguez, a decision win against Jacqueline Amarim, a decision loss to Yasmin Haregi, a decision win against Victoria Dudakova, and then a decision win against Stephanie Luciano. So yeah, it's not too often we see a minus number next to Sam Hughes' name, let alone minus 340 number. Like, this is typically somebody that's always the dog, somebody you want to bet as the dog. But now she's going against Shauna Bannon, which this is probably Sam Hughes' easiest matchup to date, to be honest. Going through her career, it's probably her easiest matchup. So yeah, I mean, I got to go Sam Hughes here. Maybe a parlay pick. I just struggle to see how Shauna Bannon really wins this fight. Shauna Bannon, like, really bottom of the barrel, and Sam Hughes has one out there and proven herself time and time again. But yeah, we're having to pay some chalk for it. They're all over it. Wheezy, what are your thoughts on the first fight of the night?
Sam Hughes 5-5 in the UFC, Brady. So, I mean, obviously she's got 5 UFC wins. I mean, there's a lot of people that never get to that level that have a lot more hype on them than Sam Hughes has ever had on her name. So she's a veteran. She's got 10 UFC fights. She's won 5 of them. You know how many times she's been priced as a favorite in the UFC?
I'm going to say 0 or 1.
0. So Sam Hughes is 5-5 with a 40% ROI and an average betting line of plus 228. So our average betting line is plus 228, and now we're laying what?
Oh, like 350.
Yeah, so it feels like we're betting against Shauna.
Oh yeah, we are.
We're betting on Sam here. And, we always got to be that's a dangerous thing to do is to, instead of bet on somebody, to bet against somebody. And I feel like that's what the people who are laying this much juice on Sam Hughes. Let me ask you something, Brady. Maybe I'm crazy, but let's say this were to be a 15-minute distance striking match. Do you think Sam Hughes is going to look minus 350?
No, I think she'll win it, but I don't think she'll look minus 350. Absolutely not.
She kind of needs to grapple to look minus 350 here, doesn't she?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's the way I'm seeing it. Shauna's wins are over Alice Ardeline by split decision and Puget Tomar, where she was literally this close to getting knocked out. It was like basically the exact same fight. Remember when Vanessa Demopoulos fought Silvana Gomez Juarez?
Yep.
She got completely floored, and then like Hail Mary armbar to win the fight against somebody with, very little grappling. And that's what happened to Shauna. So she's even getting dropped by somebody like Puja Tumar, who's a low-level UFC strawweight. So, yeah, man, I mean, like, Sam should win this fight. But I just think that if you kind of honestly break this fight down, it's hard to get to a Sam Hughes minus 350 money line. It's hard to picture her looking that price tag if this fight stays standing, because Shauna does kind of have an awkward traditional martial arts style with that bladed stance and a lot of kicks to maintain distance and kind of just pick you apart and score points. So, yeah, I think this is going to be a tricky fight for Sam Hughes all the way in Paris. Long flight. The crowd will probably somewhat be behind Bannon, even though she's not French. So, I mean, I just think that we got to be a little bit careful about how we're going to play the Sam Hughes side here. Does she finish this? Does she win by decision? Or, and does she have to grapple in order to look her price tag? And I think the answer to that question is yes. And she's not the most reliable offensive wrestler and top time getters. So, yeah, I think this one might play out a little bit closer than what the line suggests it will. But Sam Hughes should win this fight.
Is she a fan of steak or yachts or?
I don't know. Remember Sam Hughes said that her boyfriend bet on her? She had was that the Amorim fight? I forget which one it was, but she was a pretty big underdog, and she was talking about in an interview how her boyfriend bet on her and cashed, and she wanted some of that money. She's like, "That's bullshit. Give me some of that money. I'm the one that won the fight." So you never know, Brady. You just never know. Kyle Dawkins just got a first-round knockout against a guy who had never been dropped in like something like more than 10 UFC fights. So,
yeah, I mean, when we're laying, we have to ask you this question when we're laying big chalk. I mean, she minus 350. Does she like steak? Does she like yachts? Is she training out of Extreme Couture? I mean, we got to ask.
Have we seen her hanging out with Michelle Pereira anytime in recent memory?
I hope not. I hope not. But yeah, I mean, you nailed it. We're betting against Shauna Bannon. You don't really lay a minus number in general on Sam Hughes, but yeah, she should absolutely win this fight.
10 UFC fights, never been priced as a favorite, Brady. Never once.
I know. Like I was like messing around, trying to put together maybe a parlay like a week early, and I put Hughes in the parlay. I'm just looking. I'm like, what the hell am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing right now? Why am I even thinking about doing this? But yeah, Hughes should win. Bannon is terrible. I don't understand how Hughes is like minus 340. It's definitely a Y line. It has gotten blown out though. What was Hughes? So Hughes was like minus 225, minus 260 last week. So the parlay boys have came in and did their job and moved the line over $1. It's good for them. Hughes potential milking. We could see a potential milking here because Bannon is a trash bag fighter. Hughes should be minus 800. Shauna Gannon has a cannon of an ass. Does she? I don't know. Verna Jandaroba Jr.
Jandarosis
Jr. Does Sam Hughes like steak? Only path for Shauna. I don't know. Sam Hughes for president 2026. Can't do it on Sam Hughes. Yeah, I'm not betting this fight. I'm not betting this fight at all. 15-minute striking match with these broads sounds amazing.
Yay.
Heck yeah. Big old pass. I'm passing as well.
Yeah.
These zesty parlay boys ruining the line. Yeah, they are zesty. They are a little zesty, huh? I don't like it. All right. Moving on to the next fight. It is going to be, oh boy.
Ooh.
Oh boy, it's going to be a good one. We got Andreas Gustafsson going against Renat Fakhretdinov. We got Gustafsson, 34 years old, 6'1" with a 73-inch reach. Fakhretdinov, 33 years old, 6 foot with a 74-inch reach. Renat 1 year younger. Gustafsson with a 1-inch height advantage, and Renat with a 1-inch reach advantage. Gustafsson is 4-1 in his last 5 fights. He made his debut against Chaos Williams, won that fight by decision. Prior to that, he knocked out Pat Pitlick on the Contender Series in the second round. As far as Renat Fakhretdinov, he is 4-1 or 4-0-1 in his last 5 fights. Had that draw against Eliza Zaleski dos Santos a couple fights ago. Wins against Brian Battle. Did somebody just break into my house? Colton
G.
Colton. Oh, it's my wife. She came back from work. She had the night shift tonight.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, it's all good. So anyway, yeah, this fight's gonna be awesome. You know, I went back and watched Gustafsson's Contender Series fight the other day, and I'll never forget how one of the announcers were talking about how he said that he brings his the spirits of his ancestors into the fight with him, and he this guy's a wild man. And then remember the week of the Chaos Williams fight, right? He posted on Instagram. And he says game plan equals full retard, which I thought was hilarious because I'm watching this guy fight. I'm like, this guy's going full retard. This guy, that's his fighting style. And he posts that. I'm like, yes, that's totally correct. And yeah, that's what he does. I think Gustafsson's going to be a problem. He's one of those guys where, you know, I don't think he's really that great at a lot of things, but he's really good at, you know, a couple things. Like what he's really good at is pushing you against the cage. He has unlimited cardio. He's extremely strong, and he's going to try to push you against the cage, land knees, land elbows, and break you. And he was a dog against Chaos Williams, but now he's a favorite against Renat Fakhretdinov. I do think this is a much tougher test. We got to remember, Chaos Williams was doing his training camp at a Planet Fitness. And as far as I'm concerned, Renat Fakhretdinov is not training at a Planet Fitness. So we do have Gustafsson as the slight favorite, like minus 120. And yeah, I kind of like the matchup for him here. You know, I don't want to discount Renat, you know, that much, but I kind of feel like this is a fight where Gustafsson can push a little bit of a pace. We have seen Renat slow down a little bit. And I kind of do like Gustafsson here, but I wish I would have got him as a dog. He did open up. What the heck? It says he opened up at plus or at minus. No. So, okay. He opened up at plus 250, right? Gustafsson, and then he went all the way to plus 150, and then money's just been coming in on him nonstop, you know, the past couple weeks. So now he's a minus 120 favorite. So I would have loved to bet him as a dog. As a favorite, though, I'm not quite sure. Weezy, what are your thoughts on this fight? It's a very interesting fight here.
Yeah, I can't wait for this one. I mean, Gustafsson's just been a lot of fun to watch. His fight on the regional scene against, let me get the name here. It was just, I mean, an amazing fight. It was the Tony Lampinen fight. That'll make anybody a fan of this guy is to watch that fight. But if you watch the Joelton Luterbach fight, you're going to see a pretty boring fight. That's a lot of clinching, a lot of takedown attempts that are unsuccessful, and Luterbach kind of wins the fight with anti-grappling by stuffing the takedowns, by having a couple of spots where he's able to get into top control and land a little bit of ground and pound after the fight is mostly a stalemate. So Andreas is going to fight you in a phone booth, and he's not afraid to take damage at all because he really trusts his conditioning. He really trusts his durability, and he knows that he's not going to stop. So you got to break him before he breaks you. If there were no time limits in fights, Brady, I think Andreas Gustafsson would be like 700-0. You know, I mean, like, this guy really does bring his Norse ancestors with him, and he's not talking about his dad and his grandpa. You know, he's talking about people that were slaughtering people in the 12th century. You know, he's descended from those guys, the guys that fucked up the Huns, the guys that fucked up the Gauls, the guys that ran the entire fucking continent, you know? And yeah, he's just an absolute animal. Fakhretdinov, though, is going to be able to match him in a lot of the areas where Gustafsson is going to be really good. The wrestling, the clinch, just being physical in those positions. But I mean, I think Rinat Fakhretdinov is probably the better offensive and defensive wrestler here. So I think that this is going to be a bit of a chess match, just in terms of, is Fakhretdinov going to be able to use leverage and positioning to not let this guy Gustafsson drag him into the type of fight where he's just wearing on Rinat and beating him up, landing body shots and elbows in the clinch. Because one of the stats that I wanted to point out for this fight, Brady, is that Rinat Fakhretdinov has 6 UFC fights in 76 minutes of cage time. In that time, he's landed 59 significant strikes. Now, you could do it if you click on Rinat Fakhretdinov, the AS tab there. The number that I just highlighted there, that 59, is how many significant clinch strikes he's landed over 6 fights. And if you go to the Andreas Gustafsson AS tab, you're going to find a guy that landed 52 significant clinch strikes in 1 fight. So you just don't want to be in a phone booth with this guy. He's got that retard strength. Oh. He throws a lot of volume in those positions, and he's very, very physical. So I think Fakhretdinov is going to need to get takedowns and get into top position and see if he can hold that top position. Because if he doesn't, he's going to wind up in the clinch with this dude, and I think he's going to get abused there. So I'm really looking forward to this fight. This guy Gustafsson has made a fan out of me, and I'm going to be rooting for him in this fight. But Rinat Fakhretdinov is no joke. I mean, this guy is 24-2 as a professional. You know, he's very good at winning minutes with his grappling, and he's got a lot of power in his hands as well. So I think that this is going to be a hell of a fight. I'm kind of surprised it's this early on the card.
Yeah. It's like weird. Like, I was watching his Gustafsson's fight with Williams, and it's like, it was a great fight, but at the same time, it kind of sucked. I mean, it was in the clinch for like probably 14 minutes, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, it was like a fun fight. Like, he makes clinching fun somehow. Like, clinching's never fun.
Yeah.
But he makes clinching fun.
He's landing big shots in there, big knees, and you know, it's fun to watch this dude work in there, because he really does look like I'm gonna clinch you up. This is how I'm gonna win. It's just so rare that you see guys actually bring that style to the cage and use it effectively. So many guys are just trying to take you down and lay on you or submit you or knock you out on the feet. This guy wants to hug you, put you up against that cage, and like try to actually push you through it while he's trying to put his elbow through your eye socket. It's fun.
Yeah, I like it. So yeah, we got Gustafsson -120, Fakhretdinov +100. The over/under set at 2.5. The over 2.5 -160. The under 2.5 +140, which makes sense. Both these guys are super tough. I don't think Fakhretdinov's ever been finished, and then it's just going to be a lot of clinching. So I get why that over is a minus number there. Colton, yeah, luckily it was not Colton G and his goons. Full retard equals the best base in MMA. I mean, it's working really well for Andreas Gustafsson thus far, for sure. Return of the Gustafsson. Yeah, he is the GOAT. I would tend to agree. After this fight, no bet. I'll be watching the live number on Gus. Not a bad idea there. Bit of recency bias in the line. Yeah, I mean this is a really big step in competition. I mean this from Chaos Williams, who is a realtor. Chaos Williams, who is hitting pads and Planet Fitness. Like, how are you about to hit pads and Planet Fitness?
I don't know, man. I mean, like I said, I work out at Planet Fitness and it's for candy asses. So like that's coming from a guy who works out there. It's not someplace you do an MMA camp.
Yeah, it just doesn't make a ton of sense.
How could you do an MMA camp in a place where there are signs warning you about the horrors of gym intimidation?
Right. There is, yeah, 100%.
I mean, if there was a picture of gym intimidation, it would be a picture of Chaos Williams' face.
Oh,
who's letting that guy into a fucking Planet Fitness to do a goddamn MMA camp? He would scare everybody that was working at a Planet Fitness completely out of there.
Yeah, I know. I mean, if I was working, I wouldn't let him in Planet Fitness. I mean, this guy's terrifying, dude.
Absolutely terrifying.
Terrifying. Jeez. All right. Yeah, Colton G. His goons are no joke.
Yeah.
Who do you think is better in the clinch, Dalby or Gus? I'd say Gus is a lot more like dangerous and urgent.
A lot more physical, but I just brought up Nick Dalby's clinch striking numbers, Brady, because I got access to them. And before the Randy Brown fight, which did not spend a lot of time in the clinch, Nicholas Dalby had outlanded his opponents over 13 UFC fights, 223 to 81 in significant clinch strikes. So he was landing almost 3 significant clinch strikes for every one that his opponents were landing. But even like Gustafsson even did a better job than that against Williams, because he outlanded him 52 to 13. So he actually outlanded him 4-1 in significant clinch strikes.
4-1's crazy. Yeah. I mean, that was bad. I mean, he beat Williams pretty easily there. I wouldn't like Gus. Yeah, I wouldn't want to be in the same like area code as Gustafsson. I mean, this guy seems a little off the walls, but should be a fun fight. All right, moving on to the next fight. We have Brad Tavares going against Robert Bryczek. We got Tavares, 37 years old, 6'1" with a 74-inch reach. Robert Bryczek, 35 years old, 6 foot with a 75-inch reach. We got Bryczek 2 years younger. Tavares with a 1-inch height advantage and a 1-inch reach disadvantage. Tavares is 2-3 in his last 5 fights. Got knocked out by Bruno Silva. Beat Chris Weidman by decision. Got knocked out by Gregory Rodriguez. Lost a decision to Jung Young Park. And then beat Gerald Mearshart by decision his last time out. As far as Robert Bryczek, 4-1 in his last 5 fights. He made his debut against Ihor Potieria and lost the fight by decision. So, yeah, I mean, this is a card where there's a lot of guys that I typically like to bet against. There's a lot of guys I typically like to pick against, but they're just really setting these guys up with really good matches. And this is one of them. Like, I'm always trying to fade Brad Tavares. I've thought this guy was kind of on his way out for a while now. I thought the Chris Weidman performance was pathetic. Got knocked out by the ghost of Bruno Silva. So, yeah, I'm always trying to fade Brad Tavares, but I will not be trying to fade Brad Tavares here against Robert Bryczek, who got 30-27 by Ihor Potieria. It was just a horrible performance. He showed poor cardio, slowed down. Really wasn't a high-paced fight, but he slowed down. He didn't throw anything. Just a really horrible performance. So it's not too often, especially nowadays, we see Brad Tavares as a pretty big favorite. Brad Tavares is sitting as like a minus, where is it? Minus 210. So it has came down a little bit, but Brad Tavares is like minus 250. Now he's minus 210. I got to go Brad Tavares, but I don't know. I mean, I'm not betting this fight. What are your thoughts on this one?
I mean, I think it's kind of a fascinating fight to break down from a gambling perspective, because, you got Robert Bryczek, who just lost a fight to Ihor Potieria, which means that like he's just almost unbettable. And he's facing a guy in Brad Tavares who's, been in there against the who's who of the division. He's been there since before 2013 winning fights. One of the pioneers of the middleweight division here, but the thing is that like he's getting up there. He was a minus 150 favorite against Gerald Meerschaert, but he was plus 190 to Jun Yong Park, plus 200 to Rodriguez. And I mean, if you're thinking about laying juice on Brad Tavares, it was just in April of 2023 that he got knocked out by Bruno Silva. That Bruno Silva, the guy that just almost died in his last fight. Poor Bruno Silva, who's just really been on a really rough run, and that's his last win, is a knockout win over Brad Tavares. So, and Bryczek's got real power. I mean, like he looks like he might have used PEDs at one point in his life.
Not anymore.
Well, I know. I mean, like that's the thing. You come into these organizations like the UFC, and they're going to drug test you. We saw it with Lucas Dresky, another PED user who had to stop using them, got caught on Dana White's Contender Series, and then now doesn't look like the same dude that fought on DWCS, and he's 1-6 in the UFC. And Bryczek comes in here and loses a decision to Ihor Potieria. He got outpointed by that dude. And Robert's got power, so like he's not really a minute winner, Brady. Like he's a guy who kind of waits to land that big shot. And if he lands that big shot, it could be nighty night, keep your butthole tight. And it's not like we haven't seen Brad Tavares be knocked out several times at this level here. So he got knocked out by Rodriguez and Silva in 2 of his last 3 losses. And even in the loss against Jun Yong Park, he was in big trouble there in the 3rd round when Park got on top of him. So Bryczek's live for a knockout. But, I mean, if Bryczek were to beat Brad Tavares, it would be by far the best win of his career. I mean, these guys are nowhere even close in terms of strength of schedule. So I think that if Brad Tavares loses this fight, it's probably time to hang him up, even though he's only 37 years old. He's got a lot of miles on that engine, a ton of UFC fights. So, I mean, like this guy's just had 21 UFC fights just since the year 2013. 12-9 over that stretch. So if he doesn't beat this dude, if he's getting knocked out by this guy, I don't care if it's in Paris. I don't care if it's in Abu Dhabi. I don't care if it's in his backyard. He's done if he loses to this dude. So I think that this should be Brad Tavares. I think he could potentially even finish this guy, but probably Brad Tavares by decision.
Oh, he's not finishing anybody ever. This is probably Tavares' easiest matchup, probably in the last 15 years.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the list of names. Who would it be easier than? Gerald Meerschaert, 28 career submissions. Jun Yong Park, Gregory Rodriguez, former champion in Weidman, Bruno Silva, Dricus du Plessis, Omari Akhmedov, Antonio Carlos Jr., Edmund Shabazian, Israel Adesanya, Christoph Jotko, Talis Latis. I mean, like it just Robert Whitaker's in there, Nate Marquardt. Lorenz Larkin, Yoel Romero. I mean, come on, man. This guy's fought everybody. So if he loses to Bryczek, that's a bad, bump in the road for his career at 37 years old with this many fights.
Yeah, I'm trying to. Yeah, it'd be probably his easiest matchup ever.
It would have to be, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at these names that he's been fighting. I mean, like you'd have to go back to when he fought Bubba McDaniel.
I was going to say Phil Baroni, the New York badass.
Phil Baroni's a murderer, isn't he?
I don't know.
Dude, I think Phil Baroni's like doing life in a Mexican prison for murder, if I'm not mistaken.
God. Well,
maybe the chat can. I don't know. Maybe the chat can. But if you beat a guy that killed the guy, that's a feather in your cap.
That's fair.
Even if you beat him before he murdered another human being, that's still,
So he was arrested in Mexico in 2023. He killed his girlfriend.
Okay. Yeah, Phil Baroni, MMA legend.
Sickening. Sickening, just like this fight. I will not be wagering on this one. I mean, how could you?
Yeah, you're either laying juice on Brad Tavares, who could potentially get knocked out by Robert Bryczek, or you're betting on Bryczek, where if he were to win this fight, it would be like 8 notches on the ladder above his previous best win as a professional. So this is an interesting one to break down, man.
Yeah. Tavares decision or Bryczek round 1 KO. Yeah, I'm kind of seeing it the same way. Forrest is picking Brad Tavares, and he's half Polish. Okay.
Yeah.
Losing to Ihor Terrier is arguably better than being KO'd by the ghost of Bruno.
That is a very fair point.
Both are bad. Bad.
Yeah.
Wait, he lost to Ihor. Lord have mercy. I forgot. It was a
Yeah,
horrible.
it was that long ago, though, right? So one thing we haven't mentioned here is that Bryczek's on an 18-month layoff. It was 18 months ago when he lost to Ihor Terrier. And to be fair, that's something that could send you into a bit of a crisis as a mixed martial artist.
Jeez. And I remember that fight. It was back when there was no violence. The fight doesn't go was minus 1,000 for the Bryczek.
I remember that.
Terrier
my
fight.
God, yeah.
They were eating good that night. They both bet the decision prop, shook on it before the fight. Let's see here. What?
Dr. Piener? Dr. Piener Sr. must have went to Shanghai, and who knows what happened over there.
That's not good.
The Communist Party might have drafted him to do urology work.
You never know. Tavares is a really good resume. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Way better than Bryczek's.
I knew a dude who trained with Brony in around 2007. He said Brony was insane back then. I would tend to believe that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's move on to the next fight. We got a good fight here. This is gonna be a very good fight. It is none other than Sam Patterson versus Trey Waters. We got Patterson, 29 years old, 6'3" with a 78-inch reach. Trey Waters, 30 years old, 6'5" with a 77-inch reach. We got Patterson 1 year younger. We got Waters with a 2-inch height advantage and a 1-inch reach disadvantage. Patterson is 4-1 in his last 5 fights. Got knocked out by Yanel Ashmos in his debut. He beat Johan Lioness by first-round submission. He beat Kiefer Crosby by first-round submission. And he knocked out Danny Barlow in the very first round. As far as Trey Waters, he is 4-1 in his last 5 fights. Made his debut against Josh Quinlan, won that fight by decision, and then beat Billy Goff by decision. A very, very fun and exciting war there. So, yeah, both these guys are huge for the division. Is Trey Waters actually 6'5"? That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So he's gonna be taller than Sam Patterson, who's really big in his own right. Sam Patterson, I do think, did a really good thing in terms of moving up a weight class. Like, this guy probably shouldn't have been fighting at lightweight. The chin, wasn't the best down there. He probably had to cut a ton of weight. Moving up 15 pounds is definitely going to help here. Yeah, this is going to be a war. Both these guys have power on the feet. Sam Patterson has a very opportunistic submission game. Would be wise for him to get the fight down to the ground. Weezy, what are your thoughts on this fight here?
Yeah, I can't wait for this one because Sam Patterson has been on fire since losing to Yanal Ashmos. And even before that, he had put together a really nice stretch of wins over in Brave. He's got power in his hands, man. I mean, like, just like when Dawkins knocked out Pereira, nobody was expecting Sam Patterson to go out and knock out Danny Barlow in the first round. And, I remember I was just watching that fight today, and I was just like, man, he really did shoot 0 takedowns in that fight, which I think it's good and I think it's bad, right? I think it's good because it shows that Sam is not one of these guys who is 100% dependent on grappling success in order to win fights. And I like it when somebody is willing to go into the area where they're not necessarily at their best and see how that flows, right? Because when you're a really good grappler, you shouldn't be afraid to try your striking because your opponent is thinking about the grappling. You're going to be able to find some success there. If you can find some comfort on the feet, that's a really good thing because it's going to allow you to kind of save your energy for when those good takedown opportunities present themselves, which means you're going to be more likely to get those takedowns when you shoot for them, and you're going to be more likely to be able to consolidate top position and do something with that takedown. The thing that worries me is that I'm worried that Sam Patterson is going to fall in love with his hands now, right? we're going to talk about somebody that it happened to later on in this card in Umar C, who looks to have fallen in love with his hands and forgotten that he's a grappler. I just hope that after Sam knocked out Danny Barlow, he's not deluding himself into thinking that he should be out there striking with everybody, because his ground game is phenomenal. He's a black belt. He's got a lot of great submissions. And because of that frame that he has, being 6'3" with a 78-inch reach at 170 pounds, he's going to be able to lock up a lot of chokes, whether when he gets to his opponent's back or when they try to get back to their feet with the front choke series, guillotines, darces, anacondas, all those great chokes that finish fights. Sam Patterson is totally capable of getting those. And Trey Waters is a guy that's got really good striking for 6'5". He's got length and he knows how to use it properly. He throws straight punches, he uses kicks, and he uses lateral movement to not let his opponents crash the pocket on him. We did see Benjamin Bennett have a lot of success fighting Trey Waters in a phone booth, and that's listed as a win for Trey Waters. It was one of the worst reffing performances I've ever seen. Trey Waters couldn't get off the cage, and the ref stepped in, I think, about 13 different times over the second and third rounds to get Trey Waters off the cage when he kept getting put there. He would have easily lost that fight to Ben Bennett. So we've seen Trey Waters be put in positions where he's been out grappled, but if you let Trey Waters stand and strike with you, it's just going to be a really tricky opponent to deal with at 170 pounds at 6'5" with a 77-inch reach, who really does know how to use that length in order to win minutes and moments. He's got 3 wins by knockout. He's got 3 wins by submission. He's got 3 wins by decision. So Trey's a pretty good fighter. And we saw it in the Goff fight that if you just try to march forward against him, he's going to be able to catch you walking in. He's gonna show good footwork and elusiveness. And he's going to be able to, even with your forward pressure, outland you and land the bigger shots. So I think that this is a fascinating fight. I mean, I could see this one going either way. I think Sam Patterson's going to have to really mix in that grappling, though, in order to get Trey Waters out of his striking rhythm, because you don't want to let Trey get into a rhythm with that unusual height, length, and that solid, accurate striking that he brings to the cage. I think that this is one of the most intriguing fights on the card. And once again, it's down here low with Fakhretdinov Gustafsson, which I think is going to be a banger. This one's going to be a banger. The next one that we're going to talk about is going to be a banger as well. So I'm loving this card, man, and I'm loving this fight.
Yep, absolutely going to be a banger. Patterson opened at -150, currently -159. Waters opened at +130, currently +139. I didn't mind violence, but they did set it at 1.5. The over 1.5 is -185. The under 1.5 is +161. So not sure I'll get there, but Patterson's going to be in all the parlays. You think the parlay boy is going to put him in the... I don't know about that. I mean, it's a closely lined fight. One of the closer lined fights on the card, I believe. But maybe. People are betting Trey Waters. Peener Wiener? What? Got Waters at +162. Cash that CLV +139 as of now. Dixon saying, don't get caught with your pants down this week, overexposed on an overpriced Sam Patterson. Proceed with caution. 6'5", 170 WTF. Yeah, it's crazy, dude.
Yeah, well, the WTF there is that this dude was fighting at 155 before. Oh no, he's talking about Waters, but
Waters, yeah.
Patterson, has moved up from at 6'3", he was fighting at lightweight. And now that he's up at 170, Danny Barlow landed some pretty clean shots on him, and he took them up at 170. At 155, I think his chin looked a lot worse. At 170, it might hold up a little bit better.
Yep, you would hope so. But Patterson is still very hittable. Hold this chin up in the air.
And Waters got power.
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, I mean, if Patterson grapples here, I mean, he's gonna have a big giant advantage on the ground. But even like his regional fights, like Patterson's not really wrestling much. He'll get the occasional takedown. He has that opportunistic submission game, but he's not really going out there and wrestling a ton. He did take down Crosby and Lioness, and that's great, but it'd be wise to wrestle here for sure. This has got to be the first time Patterson has fought somebody taller with more reach in him. Yeah, absolutely. The Sean Woodson of 170. Waters KO round 2. Patterson is one of those dudes you want as a dog, not as a minus 200 favorite. Yeah, I'm not running to the window to lay chalk on him here. This is going to be Krylov versus Guskov all over again. I could see it. Patterson goes out there, tries to test his striking and swing dicks with Waters, and comes down to who has the bigger dick. Might be Waters.
Might be Waters. Yeah, it's going to be a great fight, though, because Sam's got power in his own right. He knocked out Felipe Silva violently on the regional scene.
Yeah, both guys have power, so it should be a fun fight. All right, moving on to the next fight. It is going to be, we got a newcomer here. It is going to be Axel Sola going against Reese McKe. We got Reese McKe, who is 29 years old, 6'2" with a 78-inch reach. We got Axel Sola, who's 27 years old, 5'11" with a 75-inch reach. Sola is 2 years younger. It's going to be Reese McKe with a 3-inch height advantage and a 3-inch reach advantage. Reese McKe is 3-2 in his last 5 fights. He had a stint in the UFC, got cut, but did come back, and he lost to Ange Lusa by decision, lost to Chidi Njokuani by decision, and then he knocked out poor Daniel Frunza 5 times, and the fight had to have been stopped due to a doctor stoppage because Jason Herzog didn't want to stop the fight, but he knocked the dude out like 5 times. It was crazy, but it was nice to see Reese McKe get back in the win column. As far as Axel Solo, he is 4-0 and a draw in his last 5 fights, and he's coming in here. This fight kind of got thrown together somewhat short notice, just maybe last week or so. But yeah, should be an interesting fight. Solo is coming up a weight class here, which I think that's going to be kind of key here because Reese McKee's a big dude, and got to imagine Solo is going to be trying to look to get this fight down to the ground here. But yeah, should be a fun fight. Reese McKee's another guy that I typically like to bet against, but I'm not sure about this Sola guy, especially, coming up a weight class. What are your thoughts on this fight, Weezy?
Yeah, well, Sola had fought at 170 before. He fought at 170 before he became the Aries champion. And I think what had happened was he was fighting up at 170 in Brave, and he was getting wins there. But when he got invited to fight in Aries, he moved down to lightweight. Now, he took a little bit of time off between December of 2022 and June of 2023 to make that weight cut. And then he beats Arzumendia by 3rd round elbows. He gets a 4th round KO win over Turpel Unisov in Aries FC to win that belt. That Unisov was a crotch sniffer, was trying for takedowns in most rounds, and Axel's anti-grappling looked great in that fight. He fought Nasruddin Imovov's little brother, Dagir Imavov. Almost got finished in the 1st round of that fight. He's very lucky, Axel Sola, that fight wasn't stopped in round number 1. And I don't think it should have been a draw. I think Dagir Imavov not only 10-8'd Axel Sola in round 1, I think he also won round 3 and round 5 of that fight. So seeing Sola get a draw in that spot was very surprising to me. And then he beat this Soslan Gogolev, who looked very undersized for the division. And then I couldn't find tape on the Lucas Caio and Gilles Odelia fights for Sola. But what I know about Sola is this dude's very durable. He's got excellent conditioning. He's got good offensive and defensive wrestling, and he's got solid striking. He's just well-rounded. He can find multiple paths to victory. It's going to be very difficult to get this guy out of there, which I think is going to make it really interesting against a guy in Reese McKe who's got a 100% finish rate in his wins, and he's 0-4 to the decision as a pro. So I think it's a very intriguing fight, but I think that people are really hard on Reese McKe, and I don't think he really deserves it. The guy made his UFC debut against Hamzat Chimaev. Of course he got fucking run through. And then, back in November of 2020, during the COVID era, he loses to Alex Morono and he gets cut from the organization. But he goes to Cage Warriors, puts together 3 wins in a row. And then he fights Angalusa, has a pretty solid performance against him, and is this close to getting Angalusa out of there in the 3rd round. He goes a very close fight with Chidi Njokuani. Actually has some success in the clinch against that dude, which was very impressive. And then he runs through Daniel Frunza, knocks him out 5 times, rearranges the guy's face. It was a brutal win there for Reese McKe. And I think he's getting better. He's still only 29 years old. He's got 21 professional fights. He's, he was the Bama lightweight champion. He was the Cage Warriors welterweight champion. So I think that this is a great fight, man. But I'm leaning Reese McKe here. He's taller. He's longer. He's got more high-level experience. Definitely has a strength to schedule advantage here. I think he's got the better wins as a professional. And I think he's going to do more. Axel's a little bit low volume on the feet, in my opinion. A little bit. Not like crazy low volume. But I think Reese McKe is going to throw more and land the heavier shots on the feet. And I don't know if Axel is going to be able to win minutes in the clinch against this guy. And I think it's going to be difficult for him to take him down and hold him down. So I'm leaning McKe here. I do like the underdog in this spot. I don't know who the short notice favors because I know I got my stat product out about 2 weeks in advance of these fights happening, Brady. This fight wasn't on that card yet. So I think both of these guys are taking this fight on about 2 weeks notice here.
Yep. Just got put together like less than 2 weeks for sure. But yeah, Axel's the favorite. Opened up minus 185, currently minus 138. McKe opened up plus 160, currently plus 118. Over under set at 2.5. Over 2.5 is minus 165. Under 2.5 is plus 145. Typically, I might look under for McKe, but I think this fight probably goes over. Even though he has a 100% finish rate, but I kind of lean over.
I was thinking the same thing because Sola is extremely durable.
Both guys are.
Yeah, absolutely. Both guys are.
Yeah, so kind of think it does go over. Let's see here. I will bet literally anyone against. Yeah, and I'm always trying to bet against this guy, but I don't know about here. I'm not high on McKe. Referee stopped the fight early. What with that and the
referee did not stop that fight early. It was the doctor who stopped the fight.
Oh, Herzog was making a snuff film. Okay, that makes sense. Oh, a question for both Brady and Uncle Weezy. Is this Paris card massively underrated? There's so many phenomenal matchups on here. Yeah, I think it's a phenomenal card. Absolutely.
I'm not underrating it at all. I think this is awesome. You got Mason Jones on this card. They're like, for instance, Modestus Bukowskis, not like a big name, but I think he's going to get a big win here. And Fares Ziam hasn't put on the most exciting fights, but he's a very good prospect. But yeah, you got Keta. The Ruchala is a fun prospect. This is a great card, not just from a fan perspective, but I also think from a betting perspective as well.
Don't forget about William Split Decision Gomi.
Yep.
Going to split decision this weekend. Let's go.
But they gave him another opponent in this Ruchala guy who's gonna really make him fight, just like they gave him Hyder Emil last time out, because they're like, there's no way that William can make this fight boring, and he wasn't able to.
It was a fun fight, but it was still a split decision.
That's true.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
Sola's not that good in my opinion. Javi's saying Sola has fights at 185 and amateur and fights at 170 as a pro as well, but his success is at 155, and I think that's where he will have his UFC career. I agree with that.
He's a big lightweight, but he's going to be undersized as a welterweight here. So I was kind of surprised, to see him fighting at 170 instead of 155.
Yeah. Brady Chef's Kiss on the new format and look for the show. I've been noticing upgrading your channel little by little consistently. Well, don't Chef's Kiss to me. It's my graphics guy. I can't take the credit there. It's my graphics guy. He does great work. Fought well last time. Run back the Haas out.
Yeah.
Let's not do that. Forrest saying, wait a second, 177 people in the YouTube chat, but only 60. That's terrible. What's going on? I get that football's back, but geez. Let's get those likes up. Football season's back. What a shame. Double Chin Jim. Where's Dr. Peter? I need his help urgently. He's watching on Twitter. Dr. Peter's watching on Twitter.
I hope so, man, because it looks like his son doesn't even know where he is.
Ted saying, where's the stats? Well, we got the stats right here, Ted. And if you want the stats, as always, you can sign up on Uncle Weezy's Odd Shopper as well. So we got the graphics, we got the stats. Don't worry, Ted.
Graphics are so much more fun to look at, man. We got to do that instead. Who wants to look at a spreadsheet the entire time?
We got stats, And if you want some Eileen Perez nudes, you hit up our guy Eileen Perez's butthole. You hit him up.
We got a great audience here, man.
We really do. I'm not liking because I don't want Brady to get the face. That's actually very nice of you, Rem Dog, because I don't want face tats because that would be bad. I don't want face tats. I don't want a skullet. I don't want that. Brady, where's the? Did you see that?
Yeah, I did.
I made like different shirt designs and I came up with some good ones here. Let's see if I can bring them up. You just got piped on site. Back to the drum board. Move, fighter. Move, fighter.
And I like how the dead guy has got X's for eyes.
Yeah. You just got milked. And I had another one here. Get some help. Get some help. Hilarious. Oh gosh. You know you made it when you got Cedricus Dumas on the show. Yeah, hopefully we can get him on the show next week. I'm kind of down. I also at the same time don't really want him on the show, but I maybe like 5 minutes. I don't think I can do more than 5 minutes of it though.
Yeah, I mean, I think our fans would love it. You know, I think the audience would be like, "Fucking dudes, SD Dumas is going to be on Stat Diggers." Like they're going to be tuning in. You know,
if that's what the audience wants, the audience is going to get it. So we'll see. We'll see if Mills can come through and get Dumas on the show next week, even if it's like 5 minute, like a 5 minute cameo of him smoking a blunt.
Yeah, that'd be beautiful.
Absolutely. All right. Moving on to the next fight. This should be a good fight. We got Marcin Tybura going against Ante Deia. We got Tybura, who is 39 years old, 6'3" with a 78-inch reach. Deia, 35 years old, 6'4" with a 79-inch reach. Deia, 4 years younger. Deia with a 1-inch height advantage and a 1-inch reach advantage. Tybura is 3-2 in his last 5 fights. Got knocked out by Tom Aspinall. Submission win against Tai Tuivasa. Submission loss to Sergey Spivak. A knockout win against Jonathan Deniz, and then a decision win against Mick Parkin. As far as Ante Deia, he has 4-1 in his last 5 fights, going to be making his debut here. And yeah, so they have this fight as about a pick'em, and I would tend to agree. Like I can see paths to both guys. I could see Ante Deia coming out here and knocking out Tybura, who's been knocked out 6-7 times in the UFC. On the flip side, I could see Marcin Tybura, doing the better work over the course of 15 minutes, maybe even mixing in takedowns, getting on top. I mean, Marcin Tybura, when he gets on top, he's nasty. Has a submission game, has really good ground and pound. Could see him maybe TKOing Deia as the fight goes on. So I see paths for both. I think a pick'em's about right. This is one I really struggled to kind of make a pick on. And I've always thought that Marcin Tybura has been very underrated. It's like you look at who this guy is losing against, and it's some of the best guys in the division. He got submitted by Spivak. I mean, that's horrible. Yeah. Getting armbarred by Spivak's horrible. Losing to Spivak's not bad, but getting armbarred was horrible. But yeah, he gets knocked out by Aspinall. No shame in that. Loses to Alexander Volkov, and that fight was, somewhat competitive. Mm-hmm. Got knocked out by the very handsome Shamil Abdurakhimov. Got knocked out by Derek Lewis. Lost to Fabricio Verdum back in the day. So yeah, when he's losing to guys, he's typically losing a pretty good competition. But yeah, Deia, he has power. He has fast hands. Think there's a chance somebody probably does get served here, Weezy. What are your thoughts on this heavyweight matchup?
Yeah, it's a good one, man. I'm really looking forward to this one. Deia, a good prospect out of PFL. He's fought, as close to UFC level competition as you can get. He's beating guys that are former UFC guys like Jorgen de Astro. Who else has he beaten? I know that he's beaten some UFC names.
Maurice Green, the guy that
Maurice Green. Yeah, Maurice Green's an actor now.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, he's in one of Jordan Peele's films called Him that's going to be coming out. And yeah, I mean, like Maurice Green smokes with cigarettes. He was in the Tough House. I like this dude, so you got to win over him. I've sent you the link to that Capoloza rematch, Ante Deia versus Capoloza, the second fight. Mm-hmm. These guys had to be on 27 different anabolic steroids, including EPO. I mean, they each finished each other about 3 times in the fight. They went a full 25 minutes at one of the craziest paces I've ever seen. So yeah, I mean, like stylistically, well, let's talk about trends, right? Because you've got Steady momentum on the Tybura side. He's on a 2-fight win streak, coming off a close decision win over McParkin. But he's 39 years old, but he's fought the top names in the division, so he's always going to be a tough test. He's got a steady career trajectory as an effective gatekeeper to the top 10 of the UFC's heavyweight division. He's not really old for the division at 39 years old. He's 14-8 in the UFC against an above-average strength of schedule, so that's really impressive. And he's won 3 of his last 4 fights, and he's looking like a deserving top 10 UFC heavyweight fighter, currently ranked at number 7. He's got a 26% ROI and a 14-8 record at the UFC level, and he's profitable as both a favorite. He's 6-2 as a favorite with a 20% ROI, and he's 8-6 as an underdog with a 30% ROI. So, he's priced pretty similarly here at plus 100 as where he was against McParkin. He was plus 145. Against Jonata Diniz, he was a slight minus 113 favorite. Against Spivak, he's plus 135. Against Tai Tuivasa, who's a top 10 heavyweight, Brady, minus 110. So you see that this line against Deia, the market is rating Deia as a similar fighter to guys like Spivak and Parkin and Deniz and Tuivasa. And I tend to agree with that. And, Deia is 4-1 in his last 5 fights. He's on a 4-month layoff, so he's got strong momentum. Signed to the UFC after going 25-6 on the regional scene, and he's won 6 of his last 7 fights. But he lost 2 fights ago via first-round knockout against Valentin Moldavsky, but he's got a solid resume of wins in PFL, and he's only 35 years old and signed with the UFC after compiling an impressive regional scene resume. He won $1 million in PFL. And these guys have fought before. Tybura won the fight, basically checked the leg kick, and Deia broke his leg. The bone, you could see the bone sticking almost out of the skin. It was protruding through the skin so where you could see it. So Deia is probably not a guy we're going to be seeing throwing a lot of leg kicks for the rest of his career. And actually, after that Tybura fight, the tape that I was watching, I didn't see him throwing a lot of leg kicks. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting because it's, now Tybura is 39 and Deia is 35, but they fought like 10 years ago when Deia was 25 and Tybura was 29 and he wasn't even in the UFC yet. So I think it's going to be an interesting fight. I think Tybura's got grappling upside. Deia is going to want to back Tybura up to the fence and put together a big combination and try to knock him out. I see paths to victory for both fighters, and I agree with you, Brady. I think a pick'em's pretty good here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So Deia opened up plus 180, actually, currently minus 120. Tybura opened up minus 210, currently plus 100. The over-under as well is a pick 'em. Minus 110 each way for the over-under, which, yeah, that makes sense. I could see this, going to decision. I could see Deia maybe catching Tybura. I could see Tybura getting on top and doing what he does. I could see this fight playing out a bunch of different ways. So it might be one to sit back and enjoy.
It's a great fight. It's going to be a great fight. I can't wait to see who comes out on top here.
Yep, Sergey Spivak is a great fighter. I agree. Tybura by submission. Jorgen de Astro.
Yeah, he is ass.
Yeah, he's bad. He's very bad. Horrible graphic. Might have to leave stat diggers behind. Hashtag eyesore. Well, this is the first time I've ever seen you in the chat. I don't know who the heck this guy is. So that's fine. We got Saja saying, missed y'all last week. Finished work early. Happy I can make it. Missed you as well. And yeah, this can be a good card. Really good card. Deia is bigger than Deniz and Spivak. He will not be champion, but he will be a journeyman similar to Curtis Blades. Yeah, Deia can absolutely win some fights and have some exciting fights in the UFC.
Absolutely.
Forrest saying, again, I'm half Polish, but this time I'm going with my countryman in Tybura. Strength of schedule and well-rounded. And yeah, like I said, I think Tybura is underrated. Very underrated as well. He would. He definitely would.
Yeah, but that's the problem is like, we don't fight for free, Brady, and nobody's paying us to fucking fight Jorgen de Astro. So it's pretty much a hypothetical, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely a hypothetical. But yeah, I mean, Jorgen hits hard. He definitely hits hard.
Yeah.
Graphics are great. Don't sell that guy any skin. What? Lots of talk about Rob Schneider and Verna Jandaroba.
Yeah. It was the hot chick. He was in The Water Boy, Chuck and Larry, and then he was also Deuce Bigelow, male gigolo.
I like me some Rob Schneider. Yeah, I think that was Jorgen de Cash. We got a fan of the show, Jorgen de Cash. I didn't know he speaks English. Nice,
man. Cape Verde, stand up. That's where he's from. You know where Cape Verde is?
No.
Neither do I. Neither do I, Brady.
I don't. So another fan of the show, Jorgen de Castro. Love to see it. Love to see it. Love the fans of the show. All right, let's move on. Oh God.
Yeah.
Here it is. We got Omar C going against Brenson Ribeiro. And if we had to make a poll, Weezy, in terms of who needs to get help over the course of the whole year, who needs to get the most help, I think Omar C would be on the short list there of who needs to get help after going out there as a minus 1,000 favorite. It's not too often. Jared Vandera. We love it. We love Jared Vandera.
It's about goddamn time Jared Vandera was in our chat, Brady. Oh my God. We've been doing this show a very long time, 4 years now.
Oh yeah.
This is the first time I feel like we've made it.
Yeah, absolutely. Big fan of Jared Vandera. But anyway, he was a minus 1,000 favorite. I mean, he needs to get some help. Went out there against Alonzo Menafield. And I mean, that performance was awful. And I get it. Menafield's a good fighter. Menafield has a ton of power. Menafield has elite takedown defense. I get it. But C went out there and did his best William Knight impression. Did nothing over the course of 15 minutes. He did get a takedown in the second round there and was able to win the second round. But in round one, landed 8 strikes. And then in round 3, round 1, he landed 16 strikes. Round 3, he landed 13 and ended up losing the fight. So bad performance there. But I feel like they're doing him just the biggest favor of all favors and giving him Brenson Ribeiro, who has literally 0% takedown defense. I was going to make a joke and say like it's a 0%. No, it's literally 0% takedown defense because I'm watching tape on this guy both in and outside the UFC, and this guy just folds like a launch. It's like he's willingly getting taken down in some of these fights. And anytime somebody's attempted a takedown, they've gotten it. I think he's 0 for 7 in terms of stuffing takedowns thus far, and even got taken down twice by Dihar Nergoze. So, I mean, the path is there for Omar C. I mean, take this guy down. Ribeiro's been finished off his back several times by ground and pound. Ribeiro's been submitted. He's been finished a lot. I don't think he has good cardio. I mean, this should be a walk in the park for Omar C. if he goes out there and fights with the right game plan, which I think he should. I mean, it's weird with C. It's like you go watch any C fight outside of the Menafield fight and outside of the Da Un Jung fight. This guy's never striking. This guy's never striking ever. The Da Un Jung fight was the first time I saw this guy not grapple. And then in the Menafield fight, same thing. He's not really grappling as much as he should. So I think he needs to go back to that grappling. If he does that, I think he makes this look easy. So went from a minus 1,000 favorite quite frankly, taking a big step down from Menafield, and he's minus 430, and he's still the biggest favorite on the card here, Wheezy. Does he go out there and fight smart?
He better, because it looks like he's fallen in love with his hands. Because I don't think anybody was really expecting him to go out there and outstrike Da Un Jung, right? The
guy that got submitted by Carlos Ulberg?
Yeah, that guy, right? Oh. You would think that Umar C, because if you had watched tape on Umar C, you see him shooting takedowns within the first 5 seconds of literally every round that starts in his fights. And he's dominating on the mat. I mean, he's clearly what I would even call like an elite grappler in this division already.
Mm-hmm.
He's at that level. And then he goes out there and he only gets 2 takedowns in the Da Un Jung fight and only 3 minutes of control time out of 15. But he triples him up in distance strikes. He outlands him 78-25 in distance strikes. And you think to yourself, boy, I hope he doesn't fall in love with his hands. And then what does he do? He falls in love with his hands. He goes out there and he doesn't wrestle in round 1 against Menafield. He doesn't wrestle in round 3 against Menafield, and he loses a decision as a minus 1,000 favorite.
And as the milking.
Yeah. Oh my God. Really? Was that when we lost 2 in a row?
No, that's what broke the streak. We had
what broke the streak.
A 15 event streak, and then he's actually the one that ruined the big streak. Yep.
Yeah. See, I mean, that is. Oh my God, is Fat Barnett in the chat? Who is creepy?
What's up, Chris? Good to see you.
We've got somebody who's making like 3 or 4 accounts every single week.
It's amazing.
Oh my God, it's killing me. Anyway, dude, where was I? That totally got me off track here. Yeah, I mean, 0% takedown defense for Brenson Ribeiro. I mean, he's a good Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu player, but Umar C's got a smothering top game. And chances are, Umar C is probably the better striker too.
Absolutely, yeah.
So I'm not sure how he loses this fight because that's how good this guy is. He's that good that let's not forget, yes, he shit the bed against Alonzo Menafield, but the market made him a minus 1,000 favorite against Alonzo Menafield, right? That was silly on its face. I mean, like, people should have just been betting Menafield blindly just because you knew that line was crazy, because Alonzo Menafield's a fucking good fighter. So he shouldn't have been that big of an underdog, but that's how good Umar C is that they're going to make this guy that big of a favorite. He's almost a minus 500 favorite after losing as a minus 1,000 favorite in his last fight. So this guy's clearly a phenomenal talent. He's got top 5 of the division written all over him. He's probably a future champion, but he's got to fight to his distinctive competencies here. He can't be sitting and going out there trying to strike with guys like Alonzo Menafield. You got to make that guy grapple. And he's going to have to realize that he's a better grappler than he is a striker, and he's going to have to mix that in every single round if he wants to look the prices that the market is going to be pricing him at going forward.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think he could look minus 1,000 here. I mean, he could look minus 1,000, but he's got to go out there and get the fight to the ground, and it's going to be easy to do so. I mean, Ribeiro might take himself down here. I mean, this guy has no. There might be a gust of wind, and come through the building. I mean, this guy just cannot stop a takedown. It just seems like a recipe for disaster here. C opened up minus 400, currently minus 430. Ribeiro opened up plus 330, currently plus 330. I thought we might catch him slipping with the over/under, but they're all over. They set it at 1.5. The over 1.5 is minus 175. The under 1.5 is plus 153. Thought they might do it like a 2.5 since C just went 15 minutes in his last 2 fights, but Ribeiro's been finished a ton. I think he's been finished 6 or 7 times.
Ribeiro has been finished 6 times in 8 losses. Yes.
And the one time he lost a decision on the Contender Series, Gustafsson.
Gustafsson was that was Gustafsson's first UFC fight, I think.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Gustafsson beat the Bolivian heavy bag
on
Dana White's Contender Series.
Well, yeah, I thought if Gustafsson had any finishing instinct, he could have finished Ribeiro, because Ribeiro was gassed out round 3, got into a dominant position, but Gustafsson's horrible and cut. All right, isn't that crazy? Gustafsson's cut and Jose Medina's still in the UFC.
Yeah, he got a contract for being able to take an ass whooping. That's really why he got the contract. So he's gonna be fun. They're gonna be able to put the Bolivian heavy bag in front of guys that they want to impress, and they'll look good against them.
Oh yeah, 5-fight win streak for Jared Vanderaa. Love to see it. Would like to see him get back in the UFC. Heck yeah, shout to Jared.
Let's go.
C is at a discount because he lost his last smelly performance. He should be minus 750 versus Ribeiro. And yeah, like I said, he could look minus 750. He's just got to go out there and fight smart. Got Fat Barnett in the building. What is up? Dixon Sider with some breaking news. Undefeated Abdul Rahman Yakyayev already got his UFC debut scheduled. There we go. He takes on what? Rafael Cerqueira? Really?
November 23rd. So, yeah.
Okay. There we go. Cerquera's still going at it. I think Cerquera's like 0-3.
0-3, but they probably gave him a 4-fight deal.
Okay. Alonzo has elite takedown defense. Ibero has something less than that, a lot less than that. Yeah, the first ever milking loss. Couldn't believe it. Omar by spanking him with a baguette. Ouch.
Yeah, those French, they love their baguettes, and they're delicious.
Impressed with the dedication for making accounts. Is it you doing this?
I don't even know how to do it, dude. Like, I'm just sitting here, man. Like, whoever's doing this is killing it.
Yeah.
We got Jason Witt in the house. We got Jorgen De Castro.
Jason Witt's in the building. Jeez. Shout out to Jason Witt. Remember that guy?
Yeah.
And he made me watch an ad before I could see the video. This is how you treat the vanilla gorilla. Show some goddamn respect. My apologies, Jason Witt. Fat Barnett in here. Yeah, we got some good. All I'm waiting for is Eileen Perez to enter the chat.
Yeah, we need Eileen, but we got Eileen Perez's butthole, so we're almost there.
Yaka at minus 3,000. Yeah. All right, let's move on to the next fight. It is going to be William split decision Gomi, and he's going to be taking on Robert Ruchala. Is it Ruchala?
I think so.
Ruchala.
I think so.
All right. Gomi is 28 years old, 6 foot with a 73-inch reach. Ruchala is 27 years old, 5'10" with a 72-inch reach. Ruchala 1 year younger. Gomi with a 2-inch height advantage and a 1-inch reach advantage. William Gomi 4-1 in his last 5 fights. Decision win against Jarno Aarons. Split decision win against Francis Marshall. Knockout win against Yanis Gamori. Split decision win against Joannis Britu, and a split decision loss against Haider Emil. As far as Ruchala, he is 4-1 in his last 5 fights, and he's going to be making his debut here. So yeah, I'm not really a fan of Gomi at all. I think he's a skilled guy. I really do. I think he's skilled. I just I hate the volume. I mean, so low volume. His fights are just so boring. He's very, very, very defensively sound, and that's great. And like you mentioned earlier, like his fight against Haider Emil was his very first ever exciting fight. That was the first time I've ever seen a Gomi fight. I was like, wow, this fight was exciting. And yeah, that's kind of what's probably going to happen here. Ruchala is going to come forward. He's reckless. He's dangerous. He has power, and he's probably going to force William Gomi to actually fight. So William Gomi is minus 225, and right off the bat, that's kind of terrifying considering he's in a split or majority decision in pretty much every single fight. But I do think he's the much better fighter. I think William Gomi is skilled, and if he could start putting it together, start maybe sitting down on his shots more, having a little bit more urgency, letting his hands go a little bit more, kind of like he did in the Emil fight. He could be pretty decent, and he's still a young guy as well. So, what are your thoughts on this fight, Weezy?
Yeah, I mean, I like Gomez from a gambling perspective. I'm always looking to get defensively sound fighters because they don't take damage and they win fights. And Gomez is one of those guys. He's a southpaw. He's 6 feet. He's got a 73-inch reach, and he's a southpaw. So he's got the right frame. Him being a southpaw makes it, is an extra layer of something that you got to prepare for against this guy. And he's a frustrating opponent, man. You try to crash the pocket on him, he either hits you or he clinches up with you and then looks for takedowns from the body lock position. He can win minutes on the ground. He can win minutes in the clinch. He can win minutes by point fighting at distance striking range. So he's a really tough opponent to beat. I mean, the guy's got a really good professional record. His losses come early in his career against guys like Parnas, Charrier. So the guy is a very, very talented fighter. And because he's so defensively sound, he's going to be somebody that's going to continue to win fights at this level. But the problem is that when have we ever seen William Gomi even look minus 200?
Never.
He's 4-1 in the UFC. He's got one finish, and it was due to a nut shot against a guy that Peyton Talbot finished in 13 seconds.
Oh.
So Talbot finishes Yanis Gamori. Poor Yanis Gamori in 13 seconds. William Gomi can't finish this guy until the 3rd round, and it takes a nut shot and a retarded ref to make that finish happen. So, like from a gambling perspective, you want to bet on guys like Gomi because he efficiently wins minutes by refusing to take damage and by fighting smart, showing good fight IQ. And part of good fight IQ is just having good defense, right? Good defense can mean not getting hit, but it could also mean making your opponents fight a fight that they're not very comfortable with. And William knows how to do that. Now, with Ruchala, he's going to be a guy that's going to probably bring a similar game plan to Haider Emil. Only he's a very tall and long guy, and he's got a lot more grappling upside than what Emil brings. So I think it's going to be a really fun fight because Ruchala is hittable, but the reason he's so hittable is because he's so aggressive. So somebody that's that aggressive might be able to kind of drag Gomi into the kind of fight that's he doesn't really thrive in, the kind that he just recently lost against Haider Emil, which is more of a brawl than a technical minute-winning round banking type of style that Gomi does bring. And if you wanna beat Gomi, you're gonna have to find those areas where you're able to really hurt this guy, like Francis Marshall did in round 3 of their fight. Like we saw Brito have some success, Emil have some success, even Jarno Aarons. That was a majority decision because Jarno Aarons landed some big shots when he was able to get into range and when Gomi wasn't taking him down. So I think Ruchala is going to be able to provide a similar type of style that could potentially take Gomi out of his game plan and not make him not look minus 220 here. But I still think Gomi probably wins this fight, man. Probably a William Gomi decision.
Yep. My prediction is William Gomi by, you guessed it, split decision.
There we go.
Let's go. His decision prop's going to be plus 100. His split decision prop is going to be plus 110. right next to it. I mean, because it's just so easy to. I mean, this guy loves going to split majority decision. It's every time. So yeah, oh my gosh, the over 2.5, because I was thinking maybe like over minus 260. Jeez, in a Robert Ruchala fight, the over is minus 260.
It's a William Gomi fight. That's why, it's not just a Ruchala fight.
Oh God.
Just so you know, Brady, in 3-round fights outside the UFC, Ruchala's fights have finished under 2.5 rounds 6 of 8 times. So 75%, or I'm sorry, only 2 of 8 times if they went under 2.5 rounds in 3-round fights. Mm-hmm. So maybe this one does go over.
Yeah, I would say so. So yeah, the over's juiced minus 260 could be maybe a parlay piece. Gomi's minus 225. Ruchala is plus 190. I will be avoiding this fight for sure. Brady gets some help. I'm trying.
Let's go.
Every time I see Gomi, I just think of poor Yannis. Has he woken up yet?
Yeah, man. I don't think we've seen him since the Peyton Talbot fight, right?
No, we haven't. Gomi's frustrating to fight and to watch. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the guy, but Gomi can bang. Another split, I'd say so. A fight goes to decision, could be free money. Yeah, if the over's minus 260, the fight goes maybe around minus 200 or so. Gomi is a king. Yeah, that's a good way to. Yeah, he's a weasel. He's a weasel. Nothing wrong with that either. Nothing wrong with that. Being a weasel, being a weasel wins fights.
It does, dude.
Oh, absolutely. We got Rich Franklin. Never misses the show. Appreciate that, Rich Franklin. Gomi versus Aljo for the Weasel belt. Oh gosh,
they're both 145.
Oh, they both are.
Decision minus 500.
Oh gosh. Maybe this is a new trend. At least bet on someone you don't like Gomi in a parlay. Watch it work. Yeah, and I think he should win. All right. Moving on to the next fight, we have Patricio Pitbull going against Losane Keta. We got Pitbull, who is 38 years old, 5'5" with a 65-inch reach. Keta, who is 27 years old and 5'9". We got Keta, who is going to be 11 years younger. He's going to have a 4-inch height advantage there, and he is going to. We're not sure on the reach there. So Keta is 5-0 in his last 5 fights. 3 of which come by knockout, making his debut here. And then Pitbull is 2-3 in his last 5 fights. made his debut against Yair Rodriguez, lost that fight by decision, and then beat Deni Ige by decision in his last fight out. So, yeah, I mean, right off the bat, I was hoping to get, a lot better odds on Kate, because I want to fade Pitbull. I want to fade him with anybody. I don't like the volume. I don't like the fact that he's 38 years old. At featherweight, I don't like the fact that he's not really proactively grappling as much as he used to. I don't like the fact that he's been getting hurt in a lot of his last couple fights. But this Keta guy, he's making his debut here, and this is a big step up in competition for Keta, and he's a minus 200 favorite. So that kind of shocked me there. But yeah, Keta, he comes forward, he wings big bombs. I think he has a chance to maybe knock out Pitbull, but if not, this fight maybe could be competitive. I did like the takedown defense of Keta. I do think he can stuff takedowns here if Pitbull does try to wrestle. I'm going Keta here, but I really don't like the line at all. Maybe look at like a knockout prop. But yeah, I can't believe Deni Ige lost to Pitbull. I mean, Deni Ige went out there and he did his best William Knight impression. It almost looked like he bet against himself in that fight. Did nothing for 15 minutes. He did hurt Pitbull in the third round. Decided not to follow up. I mean, Deni Ige looked career worse in that fight. And yeah, give me Keta here. But yeah, the line kind of surprises me. What are your thoughts on it?
I mean, I don't know. I'm not. What I saw from Keta, I didn't particularly care for. I mean, like, the guy's obviously an explosive athlete with a lot of power. He's got good takedown defense. There's no offensive grappling upside on the Keta side, but he's got good anti-grappling, good takedown defense. He's strong. If you do take him down, he's going to get back up. So he keeps fights standing. He pressures forward. But Brady, I honestly think that this is going to be one of the worst fights of the year. I really do. I think this is going to be a trash fight. Neither one of these guys likes to go first. Losane just he's extremely, that was the one thing that really stuck out, was not his power, not his explosiveness, not his athleticism, not this guy's knockouts. It was the fact that he doesn't do anything, man. He pressures forward like he wants to go, but then he waits. And if you wait against Pitbull, boy, you're not going to, Pitbull doesn't throw any offense at all. He's an uncompromising counter striker. So I just got a feeling like the over 2.5 here is sitting at minus 220. And I think that that's going to look like value. Honestly, I think it's going to look minus 500 because I just don't see either one of these guys. Like even Ige, when he was getting aggressive, when he was throwing, he just wasn't really anywhere close to landing on Pitbull. This guy he doesn't want to take damage. He knows who he is at this point in his career. He's a 5'6" featherweight who's 38 years old, Brady. He knows who he is at this point. He's going to try to win fights. He's going to try to win fights by being the smarter fighter, the more accurate striker. He's going to try to mix in a little bit of grappling and win minutes. He's not a finisher at this level, and he's going to try to outsmart his opponents, use his well-rounded skill set. But I think these guys are going to stand in front of each other and do nothing. I think it's going to be a terrible fight.
Oh, worse than Modesta Bukowskis?
I kind of like the under in the Bukowskis fight, but I also think that would be the smasher TV play of the week, is betting an under in a Modestas Bukowskis fight.
And Paul Craig lost his violence, it looks like. But yeah, I actually kind of like the under. Pitbull's been hurt in his last couple. Ige hurt him. Yair hurt him. I think Kennedy hurt him. Got knocked out by Suzuki. He's getting hurt his last couple of fights. He's only getting older. And somebody in the chat mentioned it. This dude, Keta, he loads up. He's very hittable. Yeah. Very wild, winging punches, and there to be hit. So I could see, one of these guys getting potentially knocked out because Pitbull has power too. So yeah, I think the under is probably my favorite look here. Or maybe like the Keta by knockout prop. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. Pitbull as a dog equals money, boring, but knows how to win. Yeah, I certainly got it wrong last time against Deni Ige. This card has to be the record for debutantes. Yeah, it has a couple of them for sure. I watched tape on this Keta fella, and goodness gracious, this guy is going to get slept very quickly. And yeah, that's what I noticed too. He's very hittable. Complete disregard for the punches coming his way. 0 defense. Yep, I noticed that as well. Keta has never fought somebody with a Wikipedia page. It's going to be a step up. Keta is a legit prospect, in my opinion. I was impressed. Little defensively irresponsible, but
yeah, but I love the takedown. He knows who he is. He's going to try to knock you out, and he's going to keep the fight standing, and he has the ability to be able to do that. Let's see if the power transfers, I forget whether he was an Octagon or a KSW guy, because there's like one guy that was KSW. This is a debutante. I think it's Ruchala was KSW, and this guy was Octagon. Is that right?
I'd have to check.
Yeah, I forget. Keta, I'll look right now. Keta is the Octagon guy, and the wins, Nico Samitsidze, 10-2, Agi Serdari, 17-4, Predrag Bogdanovic, 16-1, Mateus Legarski, Ronald Paradiser. This is a step up. You're fighting a guy in Pitbull who's fought, the who's who of Bellator for decades. This guy's got over 21 years as a professional fighter. So it's going to be an interesting one. I hope Losine knocks this dude into the 15th row.
Oh, I hope so.
I really hope he does. I'm not a fan of Patricio Shitsu, but it's going to be kind of like a sit back, wait and see kind of a fight for me, because I've gotten both Pitbull fights wrong so far. I just want to sit back from this one, let it play out.
Keta fighting big. Oh, he's been fighting big 155ers. Oh yeah, this is a really small Patricio Pitbull.
Yeah, he's way undersized. He's a big, thick dude, but for 145 at the UFC, man, you're going to be so much shorter and smaller than all of these guys.
Give Keta a couple years into the title challenger.
He's got real power, and he can keep the fight standing, so he might be a problem for a lot of guys. We'll see.
Pitbull's very active, third fight in 5 months, and he got hurt in both those fights. Ige hurt him badly in the third round, and then Yair dropped him, I believe, in the third round as well.
Yeah.
He's so fast. He's fast. He's powerful. We got Highmark Water. What is up? So yeah, should be interesting. Hopefully Keta can get it done. Next up, we got Fares Ziam versus Caio Fernandez, and another fighter in Ziam who I'm kind of coming around on with this guy a little bit. He's 28 years old. He's 6'1" with a 75-inch reach. Fernandez is 29 years old, 5'9" with a 72.5-inch reach. Ziam 1 year younger, 4-inch height advantage, and a 2.5-inch reach advantage. Ziam is 5-0 in his last 5 fights. A decision win against Mikkel Figlak, a decision win against Jai Herbert, a decision win against Claudio Poyas, a knockout win against Matt Favola, and then a decision win against Mike Davis. As far as Caio Fernandez, 4-1 in his last 5 fights. Made his debut against Mark Diakese, lost that fight by decision. Beat Muhammad Yahya by knockout, and then beat Guram Kutsaladze as a massive dog by decision here. So yeah, Fares Ziam, this guy's looking good. He's looking career best, looking like he's in his prime. He's made a ton of improvements. He's showing some urgency nowadays. The grappling has improved leaps and bounds over the course of his career. And yeah, Caio Fernandez, he's a pretty good striker. The cardio's not great. The takedown defense is non-existent. I feel like Ziam can win this fight really wherever it goes, but if Ziam goes to the grappling here especially, I think he can look like a pretty decent-sized favorite. And he is a pretty big favorite. It is kind of wide here probably. Ziam minus 330, Caio Fernandez plus 270. Caio Fernandez, another big dog here. Weezy, what are your thoughts on this fight?
Yeah, Fares Ziam, this is the biggest favorite that we've seen him at thus far in the UFC. The biggest underdog he's been was plus 175 versus Michael Figlak. He cashed there. And the biggest favorite that he's been was minus 205 versus Claudio Puelles. So minus 205 versus Puelles, and he's what against Fernandez now? Where is he? Minus 330. So this is the most expensive that we've seen Fares Ziam at thus far in the UFC. And Fares is not a guy that's going out there and looking minus 330 against a lot of people. As a matter of fact, a lot of these wins that he's getting are very close decision wins. But he is coming off of a finish, right?
No.
I'm sorry, there was the Frivola fight that he got the finish in. Mm-hmm. And that was kind of surprising to see him go out there and knock out Frivola. But yeah, he had a good performance against Mike Davis. Caio, has looked pretty good. Dude, let me tell you something, Brady. If he looks as good against Fares Ziam as he did against Muhammad Yahya, Kawe Fernandez is going to be the bet of the century, my friend, because he destroyed Muhammad Yahya. And that's one tough customer. That's the UAE Warrior that he beat up really badly there. And he's coming off, cashing as a sizable underdog versus Guram Kutsafaladze. One of the problems with Fernandez, though, is he's been an extremely inactive fighter. He's gotten an 11-year pro career, but he's only got 12 pro fights. So he's making a turnaround here in 5 months, and that's a really quick turnaround for Kawe Fernandez, who usually is taking at least a year off between fights. So one of the things that I worry about with Kawe is the activity. Another thing that I worry about is the takedown defense, which has not really been very good. And especially when you watch him on the regional scene, and the reason that it's not very good is because he likes to play Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu off his back. He is a BJJ black belt, and he does have a very aggressive and opportunistic submission game. So if I were Fares, I don't think I'd want to go to the ground with Kawe, because I think Kawe is going to put him in some bad spots down there. I think what he should be doing is using his height, using his reach advantage, pumping that jab, scoring points. And, Fares Ziam is another fighter, Brady, who's just an elite defensive fighter. Look at that distance striking defense at 69.8%. This guy is only absorbing 2.8 distance strikes per minute when the divisional average is 4.7. So he's extremely accurate. He's very difficult to hit, and he can score points with that jab and those kicks. And he is going to start to bring some power eventually. I keep saying that it's going to happen, but one of these days it is going to happen. But there is one stat that I want to bring to your attention that bothers me a little bit, especially against a guy like Fernandez, who, his record to the submission is only 2-0. But when you watch the tape on this guy, you realize that he is very dangerous on the mat and that he is very aggressive from all positions looking to finish fights. So Fares Ziam has been submitted 3 times as a professional. And I think that Kawe Fernandez, if Fares starts to try to grapple with this guy, I think he could wind up being put in some bad spots. So I think it's an interesting fight because A, we've never seen Fares this expensive before, and B, I think he's had easier fights. So there might be some value on the Kawe Fernandez side. He's coming off cashing as an underdog in his last fight against Guram, and he fought close against Mark Diakese. I thought that was a fairly impressive performance against the guy in Diakese, who is going to be somebody who's going to wrestle effectively at this level. So yeah, I think this fight's going to play out a little bit closer than what the bookies are saying it's going to play out as. And I think Fernandez can be dangerous at certain parts in this fight because Fares Ziam typically doesn't look minus 300 against anybody.
Especially on the feet here. In what world does Fares Ziam look minus 330 in a 15-minute kickboxing fight against Fernandez? No world.
Yeah, he's technical, he's defensively sound, but he's just not really hurting people. He's not running away with rounds. Like the Jai Herbert fight's a great example of a fight that could have went either way, and Fares, I think, got that nod, but, I think that easily could have been given to Jai Herbert, and it was just Fares looking to pop that jab, and, if he does get hit, sometimes he gets hit hard, and when that happens, it can take all those jabs that you're scoring points with and wind up washing them out with one big shot that your opponent lands on you.
Yeah. But yeah, Zion, minus 330. Minus 330, Fernandez plus 270. The over 2.5 is minus 230, and the under 2.5 is plus 190 there. Yeah, I doubt I can give any action on this fight here. I smell another. I think there's going to be a decent amount of decisions on this card for sure. Guy's a killer on the feet. Who?
Not sure.
I don't know. Does Muhammad Yahya win even count? I don't believe they count those anymore. Do they count them?
It's the UAE Warrior.
Oh.
He's the best fighter in that entire country at 155 pounds.
Okay,
yes.
that's fair.
Thank you, Beat Fanatic. Thank you.
Yeah. Happy to catch live. Usually have work the next day. Happy to have you. Somebody please check on Matt Frivola. Head kick KO'd by Ben Wash, Saint Denis, November 2023. And then Need KO'd by Zion, September 2024. Hasn't been seen since.
That's true. Yeah. Does Frivola have a fight scheduled, I wonder?
I thought I saw he did.
I thought I saw he did too. It's been a minute. Frivola. Let's see if UFC Stats has him with something. Nothing scheduled according to UFC Stats yet, but
maybe I'm seeing things. Maybe I'm seeing fake news. There are a lot of fake news out there.
Yeah, there is. Yeah.
Graphic guy needs to get a raise. He needs to stop making so many mistakes. I mean, it's every week with this guy. But all right, let's keep moving on to the next fight. It is going to be Modestas Bukowskis going against Paul Craig. We got Modestas, 31 years old, 6'3" with a 78-inch reach. Paul Craig, 37 years old, 6'3" with a 76-inch reach. We got Modestas 6 years younger, same height, 2-inch reach advantage from Modestas there. Modestas is 4-1 in his last 5 fights, a decision win against Zach Palga, a knockout loss to Vitor Petrino, submission win against Marcin Prachnio, knockout win against Rafael Cerqueira, and then a decision win against Iwan Kudalaba. As far as Paul Craig, he is 1-3-1 no contest in his last 5 fights. Knockout win against Andre Muniz, submission loss to Brendan Allen, knockout loss to Kyle Bahayo, decision loss to Bo Nickel, and then a no contest against Rodolfo Bellato. So, the way you feel about the Keta Pitbull fight is kind of how I feel about this fight. I mean, this fight is going to be a stinker, I think. Paul Craig, what's happened to him? I mean, ever since he got that hair transplant, he's turned into a low volume kickboxer. Like, what's he doing out there? It's like you're watching Paul Craig fights. Like, what are you doing, Paul Craig? What are you doing? And it's like they're announcing the fight, and he's getting in his opponent's face to only go out there and, throw a couple kicks, occasionally pull guard. It's like, what are you doing, Paul Craig? I don't know what's been up with Paul Craig lately. He is getting up there in age. He's 37 years old, and he's going against Modestas Bukowskis, who I've never been, high on at all. I mean, I picked Rafael Cerqueira against this guy, Modestas Bukowskis, but, it seems like a pretty easy fight. Just don't go to the ground. Don't go to the ground and outstrike this guy. It's kind of crazy. Modestas Bukowskis is minus 360. Holy crap. The parlay boys are in full effect. Modestas Bukowskis minus 360. Far as I am, minus 330. Omar C minus 430. Sam Hughes minus 340. What is going on? Williams split decision Gomi is a minus 230 favorite.
Yep.
We're laying minus. Is that what we're doing? We're laying minus 360 on Modestas Bukowskis. 3.6 units to win 1. Is that what we're doing this week? But yeah, I got to go Modestas. I think Craig's done. Have not liked what I've seen, and it's a very easy fight for Modestas if he just fight smart. Ground is lava. Give me Modestas.
Yeah, I mean, I think this one might look a lot like fucking Bo Nickel versus Paul Craig. Obviously, Modestas does not want to go to the ground with Paul Craig. Nobody wants to go to the ground with Paul Craig if they can help it. The guy is not dangerous on the feet at all. And Modestas is another guy that doesn't take a whole ton of damage at distance striking range, but he doesn't land a lot either. He can kind of hypnotize you into a low volume point fighting battle, and he kind of hypnotized Kudalaba into one of those, and he got us very close split decision win. It was a close fight, but my model, Brady, it just loves this under, and with Bukowskis and Paul Craig, is it still at plus 140? Yeah, it is. So at plus 140, we got a 42% implied probability, but 4 of 10 Bukowskis fights and 11 of 19 Paul Craig fights that have been scheduled for 3 rounds at the UFC level have finished under 1.5 rounds. So it's 51.72%, and we're paying 41.67% on that under. But one of the things that you do is the Smash Your TV play of the week, when you bet on something that you think, I think that Bukowskis should be able to knock this dude out in round 1, And I think that if he does get a little bit overzealous, he might wind up in Paul Craig's guard. He might wind up getting taken down, in which case Paul Craig can find a submission, whether he's on top or on the bottom. He's got great ground and pound when he gets into top position, and he's got great, very opportunistic submission game from his guard. So I could see either one of these guys getting a finish, and I think that under is underpriced. But I could also see me putting my fist through the television because Bukowskis refuses to go first. He's afraid of getting taken down, and he tries to win a point fighting battle like Bo Nickel did against Paul Craig. And, so I could see this going a couple of different ways. I could see it being a boring Modestas decision. I could see it being a Modestas KO, and I could see a Paul Craig submission as well. But I think that Modestas' money line and Paul Craig's submission prop, when you add those two implied probabilities up, you're probably going to get damn near close to 100%.
Yeah, probably, man. Sickening fight.
It's tough, man. I mean, because like Modestas should win. And, you might lay minus 350 on Modestas and come out the other end of that fight saying he looked minus 600. So, I mean, it's just hard. It's hard to figure this one out because nobody wants to lay minus 400 on Bukowskis, but he's fighting Paul Craig, who's a rare specialist in this era of well-rounded MMA fighters.
Yeah, I mean, Modestas went to a close decision with Zach Palga, though.
I remember.
God help us, 360. That's what we're doing. All right, but yeah, I mean, Modestas should win this fight. I think Paul Craig's kind of on his way out at this stage of his career. Modestas minus 360, Craig plus 295. The over under set at 1.5 rounds. The over 1.5 minus 160. The under 1.5 at plus 140 there. Let's see. If you're gonna bet on Craig, take the submission as only win condition. Agreed. If you're thinking of betting on Paul Craig, get some help. It's just hard to see him win unless Modestas makes just a bad mistake. I thought Iwan Kudalaba won that fight against Modestas in Montreal. To be honest, I really thought Iwan won that fight. I thought it was a pretty bad decision. 2026 can't come soon enough. Stoked to never watch UFC on ESPN Plus again. Right there with you.
Amen.
I know
Amen.
he's right there with you too. This might be the time for someone like Modestas to be confident in his striking. Maybe show some aggressiveness. That'd be nice. All right. Up next, we have Mason Jones going against Balaji Oki. We got Balaji Oki, 29 years old, 5'10" with a 73-inch reach. Mason Jones, 30 years old, 5'10" with a 74-inch reach. Oki 1 year younger, same height. Mason Jones with a 1-inch reach advantage. Balaji Oki 4-1 in his last 5 fights. Made his debut against Timmy Kwamba. Won that fight by decision. Got submitted by Chris Duncan and then beat Michael Aswell by decision his last fight out. As far as Mason Jones, 5-0 in his last 5 fights. He made his debut against who was it? It wasn't Patrick, was it?
No, he got I think it was Mike Davis.
Mike Davis. So he beat Mike Davis and then he got cut. And it was a really weird but apparently he wanted to take some time away from the UFC, go get some work outside the UFC, and then he came back against Jeremy Stevens and talk about smash your TV spots of the week. I had Mason Jones by sub at a big number against Jeremy Stevens, and what did he do? He didn't sub him. He didn't try to grapple the third round. No, he didn't try to grapple until there was 10 seconds left in round 1. He took him down, got his back, and got in a rear naked choke. Same thing, round 2. 10 seconds left, takes him down, gets his back, and then round 3, after he's already beat up and tired, then he starts to grapple. So kind of bad fight IQ there. But this fight's going to be fun. I see why they put it on the main card. Both these guys, bring a fun and exciting style. Mason Jones, willing to eat one to give one. What are your thoughts on this matchup, Weezy?
Yeah, great main card fight here because it's going to be a very exciting fight. Mason Jones does not care about defense. He's going to stay in your face. He's going to make you work. He's never been finished in 19 professional fights, and he puts a fucking pace on his opponents. This guy's attempting 20 distance strikes per minute when the divisional average is 11.7. So he just has an absolutely phenomenal output rate in all areas of the fight. 20 distance strikes attempted per minute, 8 takedowns attempted per 15 minutes, and he's spending about 44% of his fights in control time positions, and he's winning 73% of those control time positions. So Mason's has excellent cardio, excellent durability, excellent output. So he's going to be a guy that's going to just kind of drag you into a war. And I think that's not a bad situation for Bolaji Okei, who's a great athlete, has great natural power, a great jab. And he's got decent grappling in his own right. His fights have stayed standing 85% of the time. But I do think that Mason is going to be the better offensive and defensive wrestler here. So I think that he's going to potentially be the guy that has the opportunity to win minutes in the grappling exchanges of this fight. And if that's the case, I got to have him as the favorite because he's fought the better brand of competition. He's got more experience as a professional, and he's got 5 UFC fights while Okey's got 3, and he's fought the better brand of competition at this level. You know, I thought the Kawamba performance was okay, but I didn't like the fact that he got taken down and put on his back and lost the second round of that fight as a result of that. I think that Mason Jones should be able to do the same thing because he brings so much offense and spreads it around so well. I think he's going to be able to have some success in the grappling exchanges of this fight. And I think that both guys will be landing big shots on the feet. Mason Jones is very hittable, while Okey's a lot more defensively responsible and has better long-range weapons. So I think that this one is going to play out fairly close to like where the line has it right now. Where is it, like Jones minus 140? Is that about where it is?
Minus 160 and Okey plus 140.
Okay, all right. So yeah, I mean, I could see Okey at plus 140 being a tempting dog play because he's the more athletic guy. I think he's got more power on the feet. And I think he's got a little more upside. Just like if he were to kind of put it all together, you see that Okey's just got that frame and that athleticism and that power for the weight class. So I think he's a really good prospect. But, you know, Mason Jones also on that European continent, not far from Paris, over there in Wales. And yeah, I think that this is going to be a great fight. But I think I do have to lean to the Jones side because of the grappling upside and because of the strength, the schedule, strength, the wins advantage that he has.
Yep. So it opened up a pick 'em minus 110 each way, and money has came in on Jones. The over under set at 2.5. The over 2.5 minus 145. Under 2.5 is plus 125, which I think it goes over, but it's going to be one of those overs where you're just clenching your ass the entire time.
Agreed. I think it's an over bet for sure. Because Jones is so durable and because Jones hasn't really shown to be a finisher at this level yet.
Yeah, Jones pieces up Okey. Jeremy's team was robbed. He had some success in that. Jones landed some big shots that most guys would not eat. Mason Jones just has a brick for a head.
He does.
I thought Aswell did well in that fight, up a weight class on short notice. Yeah, Aswell's a really good fighter. Fat Barnett liking Jones this week. That Onama win has aged nicely. That's a good win. Good win. All right, let's keep moving on to the next fight. Before we do so, we have 460 of you guys hanging out here. Let's check the like. If we don't get 100 likes, 91. That's disgusting.
Wow, it's pretty bad.
That's
pretty bad.
That's not even 100 likes.
We got these new graphics.
Damn.
Brady had to ride this graphics dude for the entire week off to just get this done. And this is how you treat us. Come on.
It's sick. I get football's back, college football. NFL's coming back. I get it's Labor Day's tomorrow. I get it. I get all of that. But this is unacceptable. It's unexcusable. And quite frankly, it's just straight up disgusting.
Man. God damn it.
Yeah.
We got professionals in here. We got Jason Witt watching. We've got Fat Barnett watching. We've got Jared Vandera watching, and we can't even get 100 likes.
Yeah, it's gross.
God damn it.
You know what? We're not going to continue the show until we get 100.
Yeah, nobody cares about the Benoit Saint Denis Mauricio Huffy fight anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be here all night. I mean, I don't care. I get to sleep in tomorrow.
This is like Jessica I versus Cynthia Calvillo, as far as I'm concerned. We don't need to break this fight down.
Right. 99 likes. Almost there.
We have to beg for it.
It's sick. It's sick. It's disgusting. It's
like a
vile.
married man trying to get laid. Got to sit here and beg for it.
Yep. And 100 likes. There we go. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. My goodness. I don't know what's going on tonight, but
jeez.
Thank you guys. Appreciate that. Anyway, do want to shout out the sponsor before we get into this main event, and that sponsor is going to be Avery. Shout out to our guy Avery for sponsoring the show. Great guy. Go give him a follow at MMA_Very on X. And let's get into this co-main event. It is it's a very good fight. It's a very good fight. I do want to talk about it. It's Benoit Saint-Denis going against Mauricio Huffy. We got Huffy, who is 29 years old, 5'11" with a 73-inch reach. Huffy, who's 29 years old, 5'11" with a 75-inch reach. We got same age there, same height, and it's going to be Huffy with a 2-inch reach advantage. Benoit Saint-Denis, 3-2 in his last 5 fights. Knockout win against Thiago Moises. Knockout win against Matt Frevola. Knockout loss to Dustin Poirier. Knockout loss to Renato Moicano. Submission win against Kyle Prepolek. As far as Mauricio Huffy, 5-0 in his last 5 fights. He made his debut against Jamie Mullarkey, won that fight by knockout. Beat Hamez Yontop by decision, and then knocked out Bobby Green in the first round. Poor Bobby Green, by the way. Anyway, so yeah, this is a striker versus grappler matchup. On the feet, Benoit Saint-Denis is extremely hittable, and Huffy should have a field day. And I guess the most intriguing part about this fight is like, you look at Huffy's fights, and I've watched every fight I could. I didn't see any instance where, somebody took him down. So his ground game is going to be tested here. The grappling is going to be tested. It's all going to be tested for what looks to be maybe the first time ever. Because prior to that, he was able to stuff some takedowns against some of these guys. But Benoit Saint-Denis is going to be going out there and trying to get him down early and often. So yeah, I think Huffy is very live for a knockout. And I think Saint-Denis, if he can get his game going, could potentially get takedowns, control, and win the fight that way. So we do have Huffy as a decent sized favorite, minus 205, and Benoit Saint-Denis is plus 175. What are your thoughts on this co-main event?
I can't wait for this fight. Southpaw versus Orthodox matchup, and you've got the all offense, no defense, just go full retard style of Benoit Saint-Denis going up against a very technically sound and perfect fighter in Mauricio Huffy. And I think that we've seen Huffy go out there against Jamie Mullarkey, Jimmy Yontop, King Green, guys that you don't really have to worry about a wrestling attack from them. And I don't even know if the guy Magomed Aliyev, who he fought on Dana White's Contender Series, was somebody that really even tried to grapple him that much. He attempted 3 takedowns over 15 minutes. So, obviously, we don't know what Huffy's going to look like if he does get taken down. And I think that Benoit can keep this close on the feet. It's not like Benoit's a bad striker or anything like that.
He's like a punching bag.
What's that?
He's like a punching bag.
Well, yeah, he's got 47.5% distance striking defense. That is very, very true. But why does Benoit Saint-Denis have 4 knockdowns and he's only absorbed 1? It's because the guy's extremely durable, and it's because he hits very hard in his own right, and he's got great body kicks. He's got good long-range weapons. It's just, the offensive output from Benoit is phenomenal. He wins 78% of the control time positions in his fights. He attempts 10.6 takedowns per 15 minutes. He attempts 14.6 distance strikes per minute. He lands at 50%, but that 47.5% distance striking defense against Mauricio Huffy is going to be a really, really serious problem. But we're gamblers, Brady. And I guess the question is what if Huffy doesn't spark Benoit Saint-Denis? How does Benoit look then? I feel like this is a must-bet spot for Benoit Saint-Denis here. This is a guy who's going to not necessarily allow Mauricio the kind of space that he needs in order to look like the best version of himself. Is he going to be there to be hit? Yes. But is Benoit Saint-Denis going to give up? No. And is Mauricio Huffy running through guys that are 20% of the fighter of Benoit Saint-Denis? The answer is not really. King Green, beautiful, beautiful knockout. but he goes the full 3 rounds with Jimmy Yontop in that fight. The Jamie Malarkey fight was all right. Guess what? He loses to Raymond Magomedov if he doesn't get that ground and pound knockout in the last 15 seconds of the 3rd round. Why would he have lost that fight? He doesn't throw any volume. He's attempting 7.3 distance strikes per minute. So Mauricio is a guy who kind of needs to find that KO. He's not really a minute winner. As a matter of fact, he lost minutes against Magomedov when that fight went deep. So what happens when he not only is dealing with the low output striking style that he already has, but now that low output striking style that he has is going to be up against the guy who throws a lot more volume and who has a threat of wrestling and grappling. Benoit Saint-Denis is 10 wins and 0 losses to the submission as a pro. Mauricio Huffy is 0 wins, 0 losses to the submission as a pro. So, and then the other key stat, Mauricio Huffy spends 92% of his UFC octagon time at distance striking range. That's where he thrives. That's where he's an elite fighter. Benoit Saint-Denis, over a 9-fight sample size spanning 68 minutes, is only spending 43% of his UFC octagon time at distance striking range. So this fight is going to come down to who controls the pace and who controls the location. Because if this fight takes place at distance striking range, you got to believe with Mauricio being so much more technical, so much more accurate, more powerful, and more defensively responsible that he wins the minutes and moments. But what happens if this fight doesn't take place at distance striking range 90% of the time? Is Benoit Saint-Denis going to look like an underdog? I don't think so, man. I think he might look like a favorite. So I think that there's some value on the Saint-Denis side in this fight.
Yeah, there could be. We're gonna find out. But yeah, Huffy opened up -200, currently -205. Saint-Denis opened up +170, currently +175. And yeah, the odds makers did a great job this week. Like, I see a lot of overs this week. I like a lot of overs. In the fights that I do like, violence, they put the total at 1.5, and same thing here. The total set at 1.5. The over is -165, and the under is +145. So that's unfortunate, but they're sharp. What can you do? Question: who has Huffy faced and beat that makes me pick him against Benoit Saint-Denis in Paris? Yeah, Huffy hasn't really beat anybody. I mean, I guess Green is probably his best win.
And that was a spectacular win, a highlight reel knockout. And those kind of things are often, you can't replicate those kind of wins. So that's the best time to kind of get some value on the next opponent, but Huffy's got aura. We use that word a lot, and this is a guy who reminds people of Conor McGregor, not necessarily with the voice or with the post-fight speeches, but with that technical precision at distance striking range, with the stance and, him being, just an orthodox version of McGregor. It's wild. And, I don't know if he'll ever be president of Brazil like Conor McGregor is going to be president of Ireland, Brady, but this guy's got a lot of upside in the UFC if he keeps finding highlight reel knockouts like he did against King Green. And I mean, like I said that he didn't finish Yontop. That's not necessarily fair. He beat 7 shades of shit out of Yontop. It's just that dude's got a brick for a head.
Yeah, and Yontop, didn't he miss weight by like 5 pounds?
I think it was 9 pounds. And I'm not joking. I'm literally, I think they made that. They did. Went from, I think it was 165 catch weight.
Yeah, and that sounds about right.
Wow.
Who the F has Benoit Saint? Yeah, they both don't have great. I mean, Benoit Saint-Denis, like, it beat Gabriel Miranda, Nicholas Stolze, Prepelec. I guess his best win's probably, Ismail Bonfim, I guess.
Well, he went into Brazil and ran through Bonfim in ridiculous fashion as a massive underdog. Then he went out there and he ran through Matt Frivola. And he had, let's not forget that this guy, Benoit Saint-Denis, was a -200 favorite against Dustin fucking Poirier and was running through him in round 1. If he didn't have a staph infection and had his normal cardio, he probably runs through Dustin fucking Poirier as a -200 favorite. Now we're making him a plus 175 underdog to a guy whose best win is a guy who changed his name from Bobby to King in his late 30s.
It's we're paying the aura tax, man. I mean, these fighting nerds. This is the aura tax.
And we got another one coming up, don't we? We got one more fighting nerd coming up here.
Oh, yeah. Huffy Moneyline is my only bet this weekend. I might play like a total here. I like violence. But yeah, it is probably actually dog or pass from a Moneyline standpoint. Big strength and schedule difference.
Yes.
Benoit fights in slow motion. I can't bet on him. Benoit St. Denis has alarming striking defense, leaves way too many openings for a guy like Huffy to exploit. Yeah. I think we see a finish. I would tend to agree. I'm seeing Huffy going for liver kicks and shots, maybe a KO. To be honest, Benoit hasn't beaten anyone good either. Yeah, but he does have the better wins. Benoit St. Denis made Moicano look elite. Yeah, it was St. Denis
on the ground. It was only on the ground. Mauricio Huffy is not getting on top of Benoit St. Denis and looking like Moicano did.
That's true.
Throw that out the window. That's never fucking happening.
It's not happening. Benoit made Elijah Zielinski look like a champ. Yeah. Brutal from Wheezy. What was brutal?
No, I think he just said that was when I was talking about Mauricio Huffy's best win being a guy that changed his name. Yeah. Yeah,
that's true. All right. It is time for the main event, which this is my main event here.
Yeah.
Let's be real. This is my main event. But the actual main event, it is Kyle Bahio versus Nasser Imavov. Which is still be good fight for sure. We got Bahio, who is 32 years old, 5'10" with a 75-inch reach. Imavov, 30 years old, 6'3" with a 75-inch reach. Imavov 2 years younger. Imavov with a 5-inch height advantage. Got the same reach there. Imavov is 4-0 and 1 no contest in his last 5 fights. No contest against Chris Curtis. Beat Roman Dolidze by decision. Knocked out Jared Cannonier. Beat Brendan Allen by decision. And then knocked out Israel Adesanya. As far as Kyle Bahio, 5-0 in his last 5 fights. He made his debut against, what was his name? That one.
Kyle?
Yeah.
Kyle made his debut against Omar Godziev. The name it rolls off the tongue.
Yes, it does. And then he beat Murad by decision, submitted Mikhail Olazechuk, beat Abus Magomedov by decision, knocked out Paul Craig, and then beat Jared Cannonier by decision. Another fighting nerds fighter here. Not a ton of aura attacks here. It looks like pretty closely lined fight in this main event. Weezy, what are your thoughts on this fight?
Yeah, I mean, I think that this is as close to a pick'em as you can get, and for very, very good reason. Imavov, a little bit younger, a little bit taller, and a little bit more momentum, as we haven't seen Kyle fight in a year. So I think that Nasruddin has a slight strength of schedule advantage here. When I look at the trends for this fight, you got a 4-fight win streak for Imavov. And a 7-month layoff. And, this guy's on a championship trajectory. 4 of his last 6 fights have been scheduled for 5 rounds. And he hasn't lost since January of 2023 when he fought Sean Strickland. The positive career trajectory is there for Nasruddin Imavov. The biggest underdog we've seen Imavov at was plus 140 versus Adesanya. And the biggest favorite that we've ever seen him at was minus 225 versus Joaquin Buckley. So this is only the 4th time he's been priced as an underdog at plus 110 here, and that's over 12 UFC fights. The other ones were plus 105 versus Phil Hawes early in his career, plus 137 versus Ian Heinisch, and then plus 140 versus Adesanya. Now, Kyle Bahio is on a 1-year-long layoff, Brady, so that matters to me. That's a little bit of inactivity. It shows to me that sometimes I don't like these long layoffs when people aren't hurt, because it shows that they're being cagey. They know that they don't want to take a fight that could potentially be risky for them. And I feel like that's what Kyle's been doing. I feel like he's been kind of avoiding taking that one extra fight, that one extra step up the ladder that he's going to have to get that title shot. And because of that, that always worries me a little bit, because you can get a little bit away from the activity while the other guys are grinding and fighting twice a year. You're fighting only once a year, and it might allow you to get off to a slower start or have a little bit of ring rust. So But Kaio is on a 16-fight winning streak, Brady. He's doing phenomenal. You know, he hasn't lost a fight since the year 2015. And, you know, the career trajectory is obviously positive. He looks to be about 1, maybe 2 fights away from a title shot. And his striking is just improving by leaps and bounds. It looked so good in the Jared Cannonier fight. We've seen the biggest underdog price we've ever seen him at. Caio Borralho is plus 100 in his debut against Omar Gadzhiev, but he's been as big as a minus 600 favorite versus Paul Krieg. So minus 130 is the current line. It's basically the biggest discount we've seen Caio Borralho at thus far in the UFC since that UFC debut. I remember when Borralho made his debut, I remember watching that fight with Narco Cop and Tim Troiano at Rivers Casino here in Chicago when Narco Cop still lived here. I remember that debut fight. We were both on Borralho. All 3 of us were on Borralho. And he's looked phenomenal since then. So I think a little bit of grappling upside maybe on the Caio Borralho side, but Nasruddin's got good takedown defense. And I mean, I think that I could see either guy winning this fight. It's hard to really pick a side and be passionate about it.
Yeah, and the line definitely indicates that. So Borralho actually opened up plus 115, currently minus 130. Imavov opened up minus 135, currently plus 110. Over under set at 4.5. I don't mind the over. Over 4.5 minus 150. Under 4.5 plus 130. I don't think I've ever
caught a little steam. Actually, it was like minus 130 when it opened. So the market agrees with you that it's going over. It
opened up at minus 110. Wow.
Oh wow! I thought I saw minus 130. So
well, it was there for 2 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah. Some money has came in on that over. Okay. All right. I'm like struggling right now. Two hours of sleep. We got to wrap this up.
Yeah.
All right. So what we'll do now is the Stat Diggers Parlay of the Week. Last week it came through. Aljamain Sterling, check. The under in the Weston Wilson fight, check. This week we're going to hit it again. And a couple options. We got some money lines that are, wide, but I mean, a couple of these guys should win. Well, any leg that you like for yours, Wheezy?
As crazy as it sounds,
it's crazy.
I think I might have to go with Brad Tavares because if he loses to a guy who lost to Ihor Peterier, is that going to be the guy that like retires? Is it going to be Robert Bryczek who retires Brad Tavares? I think I'm going to go with Brad Tavares at minus 212. I just don't see him losing this fight.
All right. So I really like C, but he's minus 430. That's not going to work. Zion at minus 330. Absolutely not. Modestus at minus 360. No. Dang it. I mean, I'm trying to put together a plus money parlay, but if you put like Hughes, it won't get up to plus money. She's already minus 340. So I might have to do a prop because all these lines are already blown out on a Sunday. So I might have to do a prop here. Let's see. Oh. Can we do Keta? Oh, Keta? I don't know.
I don't think that Patricio is going to be taking him down. I think it's going to be really hard for him to take down Keta. Keta's shown really good takedown defense on the regional scene from what I've seen.
Yeah. I guess we could go Keta. We could go Gustafsson, but geez, that's a big step up from we could do training at Planet Fitness. God help us. Yeah, I think I'll do Keta. I don't love it. I don't love it, but we got to get that plus money parlay.
So Brad Tavares and Keta plus 125 right now on Bet Online Sportsbook if you parlay them.
God help us. What Brad Tavares and Keta in a parlay. What could go wrong? Scary. But yeah, that's what we're going with. All right, it is time for the on-site piping of the week. And did I see Colton G in the chat?
Yeah, the ghost of Colton G.
Did I? Oh.
So he's dead now.
Oh, I figured as such. I figured he's either dead or in prison. So it's the ghost of Colton G.
Could be both. He could be dead in prison.
Yeah, that happens in there. Yeah,
it does sometimes.
Maybe an afterlife piping. Oh God.
Well, you're gonna have to wait some years.
No, I can't. I mean, he's gonna win a split decision. I mean, no. All right. Piping of the week. We got some options. I mean, we got some options. I mean, somebody's probably getting piped in the Deia Tybura fight. Modestus could potentially pipe up Paul Craig.
Yeah.
Keta could potentially pipe up Pitbull. Huffy could potentially pipe up Saint Denis.
Yeah.
You know what? We really don't have many options at all. There's not actually many options now that I think about it.
Yeah. I think that a good piping, oh God, and it's just scary because we've seen Modestus Bukowskis go out there and do nothing. But you look at the career trajectory of Bukowskis right now, the dude's a unit. He's won 4 in a row or 4 of his last 5. He's flashing some power now. He's always been always had really good size and cardio for the division. I think he's going to knock out Paul Craig.
Yeah, we'll go with him. I mean, God, this dude couldn't knock out Zach Palka though. But
that was a few fights ago, and I just think Modestus is getting better now. He's training with Aspinall. He's training with some good guys.
Are they going to if they let Aspinall fight for him? I mean, we could.
No, that would be sweet.
That'd be amazing. And then we're getting into fucking.
Let's just take Bukowskis out, put Aspinall in, and say it minus 360.
Yes,
we like Tom Aspinall over Paul Craig.
Yeah, I mean that's what we're probably have to do. We're probably have to do, and he's gonna 30-27 him. God help us. God help us all. There's really not many options.
A weird one. We might have to forgive Omar C. because that's a milking waiting to happen against a guy with 0% takedown defense.
Yeah, for milking, it's like, I mean, there is a couple options for like Gustafsson. That could be, if he's winning, he's milking, right? Like that, he only goes one way, and that's milking. Or Omar C. I think those would be the 2 milkings there.
Yeah, and like this matchup for C, I mean, I think he can even outstrike Ribeiro, on the feet. So I do think that, yeah, he should. That should be the milking. Omar C should absolutely get this done.
Brenson, Ribeiro, yeah. I mean, he broke the streak. It was a long streak of milkings, and he ruined it. But I say we give him another shot, and I say we make him the milking of the week. Omar C to milk Brenton Ribeiro this Saturday. Hughes will milk her. Will milk Bannon, maybe.
Yeah, that could happen too, because that's how she would win the fight dominantly, is to grapple, I think.
Paul Craig's getting piped on site, no chin. Yeah, I cashed a nice Kyle Bahio knockout prop against Paul Craig. We'll see what the problem is. Like, they're all over it. Like, Bukowskis knockout is going to be a horrible price. I mean, the total set at 1.5. Huffy will pipe Benoit Saint Denis.
Certainly possible.
Over 2.5 in the Gomi fight. I don't hate it.
Me neither.
But Mama B, milk all over the canvas. All right. So, yeah, the milking of the week, Omar C. The piping of the week, Modestus Bukowskis. And then the parlay of the week is going to be the
Tavares
money line and the Keta money line.
Yeah,
there we go. All right. We did it. Going to kick it to Uncle Weezy. Uncle Weezy, let the people know where they can find you there.
You can find me on YouTube at Uncle Weezy. You can find me on X at MMA Weezy. And you can find my $25 a month probability stats and content package on oddsshopper.com. I've got individual fighter stats, matchup stats, over-under betting models, prop betting models, fight write-ups, access to the Discord, access to all my track bets, access to 4 hours of subscriber-only content every single week. If you don't sign up, you suck. So $25 a month, oddsshopper.com, Uncle Weezy, cheat off of me because cheaters always win. So cheat off of the smart kid in class that spends way too much time doing homework, and you get that cheating for $25 a month, and you can make better decisions for your MMA betting career.
Yeah, and there should be some new people. I mean, there's a couple people in the chat really upset that we didn't bring up the stats. So should we get a couple new signups there?
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah. Why are you sleeping on Bufafa, Brady? He would shit on Gomi.
Buafia. Yeah, he looked great in there. I think he threw like 3 strikes over 15 minutes.
Yeah. Thanks, Rem Dog. All right, guys. Gonna head out of here. Best of luck, everybody, for UFC Paris. We will talk to you guys soon. See ya.